Orsa de Vega 2025 Break Fear. Activate 5D Power Shift Reality with 3I Atlas Beloved Cosmic Family. Cherished soul, listening to these very words, I invite you now to simply pause for a moment and truly breathe with me. Not as a mere suggestion, a fleeting piece of advice quickly forgotten, but as a profound, conscious act of presence, anchoring you firmly in this present now. Draw a deep, deliberate breath inward, letting it fill every corner of your being. Hold it gently for a beat, a second of absolute stillness, and then release it slowly, consciously, emptying yourself of all tension. As you engage in this simple yet powerful rhythm, recognize a truth so fundamental it often eludes our busy minds, yet so immense it holds the key to everything. You are undeniably alive. You are unequivocally here, and it is no mere happenstance, no random twist of fate that you are encountering this message at this precise juncture in your personal timeline, an exact point in the grand tapestry of human history. This convergence is not by chance. It is not a coincidence that this video, this audio, these specific words have manifested on your screen, resonating within your very energy field right now. Consider the infinite possibilities. You could be anywhere else, lost in the ceaseless scroll of other content, captivated by countless distractions. Yet here you are, immersed in the distinct frequency emanating from 3I Atlas, hearing the resonant name Orsa de Vega and feeling a subtle, persistent stirring deep within you. It's a profound intuition of visceral knowing that something about all of this simply doesn't align with the simplistic, often superficial narrative of reality you've been presented with, the one meticulously crafted and endlessly repeated by external sources. When the designation 3I Atlas drifts across headlines, floods social media feeds, or sparks casual conversation, the vast majority tend to linger on the surface, content to accept the most immediate, conventional explanation: a comet, an intriguing astronomical event, perhaps just another celestial phenomenon to be observed dispassionately from a safe distance. But beneath that veneer of casual acceptance, within the deepest chambers of your being, don't you feel an insistent whisper? A profound sense that there is undeniably more to this unfolding story? Let me be unequivocally clear, this is not merely a video offering a dry, factual account of a comet. It is far from a cold chronicle of technical data, devoid of spirit or personal relevance. Nor is it a manipulative report cleverly designed to amplify collective fear, to tighten the grip of anxiety that already constricts so many. On the contrary, this is a direct, urgent call to your very consciousness, a clarion summons to that weary, yet resilient part of you that is utterly exhausted from perpetually living on autopilot. That part of you tired of simply reacting to the pronouncements of others, to what scientific paradigms confidently claim one day only to revise the next, to what the media incessantly repeats as immutable truth, to the fleeting, often unfulfilled promises of various theories. Indeed, the universe, in its boundless wisdom, has orchestrated the placement of a profound mirror directly before you. And that mirror, utilizing the captivating figure of 3I Atlas, poses one singular, crystal clear, and utterly definitive question: who ultimately holds the reins of power over your life? Who truly governs your destiny? I am Orsa, originating from the ancient Irani lineage of Vega lineage steeped in cosmic memory and timeless wisdom. I speak to you not from a distant, abstract realm, but from the very threshold where your perceived world merges with the vast, pulsating currents of the cosmos. From this elevated vantage point, there exists no need for veiled manipulation, no inclination to ensnare you with fear, nor to lull you into complacency with saccharine, false hopes. I have not come to terrify you with apocalyptic visions of an impending end-of-world scenario, nor to pacify your anxieties with empty, hollow platitudes. My purpose is far more fundamental. I come to gently, yet firmly, remind you of a deep-seated truth your very soul has intimately known, long before it embarked upon this particular incarnation. A truth you may have glimpsed in the shimmering landscapes of your dreams, touched upon during profound meditations, or experienced in those rare, precious moments of silent, unadulterated clarity. Understand this profound dictum: nothing external, no force or entity outside of you, possesses genuine authority over your intrinsic essence, your divine core. No comet, no matter how majestic or ominous its presence, no government, irrespective of its perceived power structures, no apparently superior force, however seemingly overwhelming, wields true dominion over your deepest, most authentic identity. Absolutely nothing in the celestial expanse, regardless of how brilliantly it shines, how enormously it looms, or how profoundly mysterious its nature appears, can dictate, define, or diminish what you inherently are. Orbits, intricate trajectories, myriad celestial bodies, predictable solar cycles, all of these constitute merely the grand scenery, the magnificent backdrop against which your personal drama unfolds. Important, certainly, as they frame the context of existence, yet they remain just that scenery. You, precious soul, are infinitely more than a minuscule figure passively lost amidst the cosmic set pieces. The undeniable cosmic alarm that so many are beginning to feel, reverberating through their very core, is not a dreaded bell tolling for inevitable punishment, nor a harbinger of inescapable doom. Far from it. It is, instead, an urgent, internal warning, a deep-seated knowing that whispers, or perhaps shouts the time a collective hypnosis is finally over. It serves as an unmistakable signal that an entire Iran epic, painstakingly constructed upon foundations of fear, entrenched dependency, and blind devotion to external power structures, is now drawing to a definitive close. And with this monumental closure, a conscious, vibrant dawn begins to break, illuminating something entirely new, something intrinsically yours, your spiritual sovereignty. This message, resonating with a specific frequency, is particularly for you if you find yourself utterly exhausted from the relentless cycle of living perpetually pending the latest news reports, ever-changing scientific claims that shift like desert sands, elaborate conspiracies that invariably promise either ultimate destruction or miraculous salvation, and ancient prophecies that, without fail, leave you teetering precariously on the emotional precipice of an abyss. It is for you if, amidst all that clamor and confusion, you possess an unshakable inner sense that behind the deafening noise, there lies something profoundly silent, deeply profound, and intrinsically true, something that cannot be precisely measured with even the most sophisticated instruments, nor neatly confined within the rigid boundaries of any theory. This message is for you if you intuitively grasp that 3I Atlas has not dramatically burst into your personal narrative to destroy you, nor to unilaterally rescue you from some imagined fate. Rather, It has appeared to serve as a precise, resonant symbol, a cosmic catalyst for a powerful, deeply personal process that has been quietly gestating, slowly ripening within you for a very, very long time. I extend to you this heartfelt invitation. Listen with an open heart, a willingness to receive, as if every single word were being spoken directly to you, resonating within the sacred intimacy of your own being. I'm not asking you to blindly embrace any new dogma or unquestioningly believe anything I say. I certainly do not need you to adopt any new beliefs out of a sense of obligation or societal pressure. Instead, I invite you to simply feel. If a particular phrase, a vivid image, or a compelling idea causes a distinct vibration in your chest, if it stirs you deeply, challenges your long-held perceptions, or even elicits a profound sigh of recognition, then I urge you, pay close attention. That inner resonance, that undeniable echo within you, is infinitely more real, more authentic than any fleeting headline, more potent than any grand prediction. That resonance, my dear one, is the unwavering voice of your own consciousness, speaking to you with both an unyielding firmness and a boundless tenderness, whispering it is time to remember who you truly are and from what profound place of power you choose to live. 3i Atlas, as a mirror, what you see outside reveals what you feel inside. Imagine the scene: the deep velvet cloak of night has descended. The sky above is a canvas of breathtaking clarity, millions of stars glittering like scattered diamonds. You find yourself gazing upward, while the name 3i Atlas echoes, almost vibrates, within the silent chambers of your mind. In that profound moment, you might not articulate it aloud, but you undeniably feel something stirring within your physical body. Perhaps it's a subtle, not tightening in your stomach, a faint pressure expanding in your chest, a complex amalgamation of fascination mingled with an undeniable tremor of fear. The mind, conditioned over eons to operate within the rigid logic of danger and survival, immediately races at full, frenetic speed. It begins to compulsively generate a flurry of internal images, dire warnings, vivid scenarios of possible catastrophes, visions of divine judgments, intimations of cycle endings, the shadowy outlines of hidden threats. This dualistic mind, ever eager to categorize and compartmentalize, rushes to classify everything into opposing poles, good or bad, light or darkness, an unearned blessing or just punishment, the promise of salvation or the specter of condemnation. It's a binary lens, narrowing your perception to a simplistic either-or. Yet, from the expansive perspective of pure consciousness, from the serene, all-encompassing gaze of Orsa de Vega 3i Atlas is neither an existential threat looming on the horizon nor a miraculous savior descending to rescue you. It simply is. It is a mirror. And here, beloved soul, lies one of the most crucial, liberating keys embedded within this entire message. A mirror, by its very nature, possesses no intention of its own. A mirror does not consciously decide what images to project, nor does it hold any judgment, interpretation, or selection criteria for the scenes presented before it. It simply, impartially, flawlessly reflects what is placed directly in front of its surface. In precisely the same manner, this interstellar visitor, 3i Atlas, carries no rigid script etched into its core, no preordained message carved in cosmic stone that must be fulfilled whether you passively accept it or vehemently resist it. It is emphatically not a messenger dispatched to impose an immovable, unalterable destiny upon you. What 3i Atlas truly reflects, with absolute precision and impartiality, is the inner state of those who contemplate its presence. If you choose to observe it through the constricting lens of fear that manifests as anxiety, suspicion, or a sense of powerlessness, you will inevitably perceive it as a potent symbol of danger, an impending threat, or a cosmic punishment. However, if you choose to approach it from a place of open curiosity, allowing wonder to guide your perception, it miraculously transforms into an intriguing enigma, a profound mystery inviting deeper, more expansive questions. Furthermore, if you choose to witness it through the lens of empowerment, you will see not an external force acting upon you, but a catalyst for the internal power within you, revealing the untapped potential of your own creation. If you observe it from a place of unconditional love, it will reflect the interconnectedness of all life, a beautiful reminder of unity. The sky, then, becomes not just a backdrop, but an interactive canvas, vividly displaying the landscape of your own soul. You observe it not merely with your physical eyes, but from the very core of your spiritual truth, from that profound inner sanctuary where you intrinsically know the universe breathes with an aliveness akin to your own, intricately connected in an unbroken web of existence. In this illuminated perspective, 3i Atlas ceases to be merely a distant celestial object. It transforms into a potent, crystalline reminder that you have, in fact, never, not for a single moment, been truly alone. It whispers an ancient wisdom that the vast, swirling cosmos, with all its unfathomable grandeur, has consistently, ceaselessly been responding to the subtle vibrations and powerful intentions of your very consciousness. The universe, in its boundless wisdom, does not engage in petty attacks, nor does it dismiss you with indifferent silence. No, it performs a far more intimate and profound act. The universe reflects you. It serves as an immense, cosmic mirror, faithfully echoing back the intricate landscapes of your inner world. When you articulate the sentiment that the world outside is plunging into an irreversible chaos, you are, in a deeper sense, actually witnessing the dramatic, inevitable dissolution of internal structures, old beliefs, rigid paradigms, ingrained ways of being. It can no longer withstand the pressures of evolving consciousness. They're quite literally falling apart, crumbling into dust to make way for new foundations. Similarly, when you perceive the expansive sky above as a menacing entity, threatening your very existence, you are not truly seeing an external danger. Instead, you are encountering the resonant echo of an ancient, primordial fear you have carried deep within your being for eons, of fear not born of personal experience, but profoundly learned, subtly interwoven into your psyche through generations past, through restrictive societal systems, through dogmatic religions, and through countless guild-based narratives that have defined human experience. Therefore, 3i Atlas does not burst into your personal narrative like some malevolent intruder, violently shattering a previously stable and predictable world. On the contrary, its appearance marks a profound shift, entering your story precisely because humanity is no longer slumbering at the same depth of unconsciousness as before. A critical mass of awareness has been reached. You, collectively, have awakened just enough to perceive its presence, to assign it a name, to diligently track its trajectory, to meticulously study its physical properties. and, perhaps most tellingly, to project the entirety of your hopes, fears, and deepest beliefs onto its cosmic form. It is not as if this celestial visitor arbitrarily decided to manifest itself now, with a preordained mission to provoke change in your world. The truth is far more intimate and empowering. Rather, the profound inner change, that simmering, potent transformation already brewing within the depths of your own soul and within the hearts of millions of other awakening souls across the planet, has now reached such an undeniable intensity that it can no longer be contained within the quiet chambers of individual consciousness. It now desperately requires larger, far more visible, and exponentially more powerful mirrors to reflect its magnitude back to you. In this grand, unfolding drama, the sky itself becomes nothing less than an immense, boundless canvas upon which the vibrant, ever-shifting hues of your collective consciousness are magnificently projected for all to see. Will you truly grasp the profound implication of this truth? You don't merely take a step, but a monumental, giant leap forward toward reclaiming your inherent spiritual sovereignty. You instinctively cease fixating on that incessant, anxiety-riddled question that has historically generated so much fear and uncertainty. What devastation will Atlas bring upon us? What cataclysmic actions will it undertake? What dire consequences does its arrival signify for my individual future, for the fragile planet, for the entirety of humanity? That question, you realize, is a relic born purely from the antiquated, disempowering old paradigm where every external event, every cosmic whisper was perceived as having absolute, unyielding power over your inner world. Instead, with a newfound clarity and courage, you begin to pose a completely different, infinitely deeper, and profoundly transformative question, one that redirects your gaze inward. What profound insights is Atlas currently revealing about my own inner state? What illuminating truths is it holding up to me about my long-standing relationship with fear, with the boundless cosmos itself, and crucially, with my own innate, sovereign power? As you brave this inner inquiry, you may discover layers of old programming. Perhaps you still harbor the deeply ingrained belief that you are inherently vulnerable, a mere leaf tossed by the winds of fate. You might realize that you still subconsciously wait for external omens or signs to validate whether you will ultimately be okay. You may even find that a stubborn part of you still feels your destiny is perpetually dependent on the whims and decisions of others. Or, in a truly liberating moment, you might discover, with a profound sense of relief, that a vibrant, courageous part of you simply no longer wishes to live that way, yearning for a freedom it instinctively knows is its birthright. And right there, precisely at that pivotal intersection of realization and yearning, the true, authentic awakening begins. When you muster the profound courage to see Atlas not as a stern, unyielding judge of your worth or a distant, benevolent savior of your plight, but rather as an impeccably honest, non-judgmental mirror reflecting your innermost landscape, a remarkable shift occurs. You immediately stop fruitlessly asking the vast, indifferent sky whether you, a mere human, truly deserve peace. Instead, you turn inward, initiating a far more potent inquiry. You begin to ask yourself, with unwavering honesty, what tenacious, antiquated part of you is still stubbornly clinging to the familiar, albeit suffocating, comfort of fear. Three-Eye Atlas then metamorphoses from a perceived threat into an extraordinary opportunity, a golden, unparalleled chance to bravely face hidden the very shadows, doubts, and hidden fears you have unconsciously projected outward onto the world for so long. It becomes an unparalleled opportunity to recognize, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that the universe, in its infinite wisdom and compassion, is always responding to your unique frequency, tirelessly showing you, with precise clarity, exactly where you stand on your individual evolutionary path. And in the profound clarity of that vision, if you possess the courage to truly hold it, to gaze unflinchingly into its depths without succumbing to the primal urge to run or retreat, the magnificent door to real, deep, and utterly stable transformation swings wide open. This is not a fleeting transformation that precariously depends on the transient appearance of comets or the ephemeral drama of external events. No, this is a profound metamorphosis rooted entirely in your sovereign decision to remember, to fully re-embody who you truly, authentically are. The end of hypnosis, the lie of external power over your life for countless centuries, spanning generation after generation. The narrative was relentlessly spun, woven into the very fabric of human consciousness. You were repeatedly told, both explicitly through teachings and silently through societal conditioning, that the trajectory of your life, your very peace and prosperity, depended almost entirely on a myriad of factors utterly beyond your control. You were assured, with chilling certainty, that the sky itself could suddenly turn hostile against you, that unpredictable natural phenomena possessed the raw power to obliterate everything you held dear in an instant. You were taught that distant governments held the definitive blueprint for your future, that monolithic institutions wielded the final, unchallenged word on your inherent worth and potential. Illnesses, you were warned, could treacherously steal your hard-won peace at any unforeseen moment, while capricious economic cycles arbitrarily defined whether you were deserving of abundance or condemned to perpetual lack. Even the stars and grand cosmic events were painted as whimsical, often malevolent forces, capable of etching your destiny in stone without a single consultation of your will or desire. Without truly realizing the insidious process unfolding, you gradually, almost imperceptibly, surrendered invaluable fragments of your personal power to all those seemingly formidable external forces. You slowly, inevitably, began to inhabit your life as if you were nothing more than a tiny, fragile, exquisitely vulnerable being, perpetually struggling to merely survive within the cold, indifferent expanse of a hostile and utterly unpredictable universe. This distorted worldview, deeply ingrained and fiercely defended, solidified into a kind of pervasive, collective spell of deep, almost unbreakable programming that very few dare to question, let alone challenge. This fundamental belief that you are merely a powerless reflection, a passive mirror of whatever happens outside you, rather than the conscious, vibrant source of power that you truly are, is precisely what the visionary Orsa de Vega so aptly terms the hypnosis of Earth. It is an ancient, enduring dream state, a profound collective slumber in which human beings have, for too long, forgotten the magnificence of their true nature, choosing instead to identify exclusively with their most limited, fear-based, and constrained part. Orsa de Vega now reminds you of something truly radical, a truth so potent it may, at first, profoundly unsettle your established sense of reality. Yet, if you possess the courage to allow it to permeate your being, it holds the power to forever transform the way you perceive and interact with the world. No object, no physical body, no distant comet, no political decree, no complex economic system, no human institution, no external structure, however imposing, has ever possessed true, inherent power over the inviolable essence of your consciousness. Indeed, these external elements may certainly influence your immediate environment. They may alter the specific circumstances of your life. They can undoubtedly dominate narratives and shape collective perceptions. But the pristine consciousness that you fundamentally are cannot be touched, tainted, or diminished in its radiant essence. The only real influence they have ever exerted upon you is that which you have unwittingly bestowed upon them through your deeply held belief in their power. Appearances, by their very nature, change with relentless constancy. Today's news story trumpets one perspective. Tomorrow's broadcasts an entirely contradictory one. Today the economy soars with buoyant optimism. Tomorrow it plummets into anxious uncertainty. Today the sky above is serenely calm, a canvas of tranquil blue. Tomorrow, tempestuous storms may rage with furious intensity. Yet, beneath all this ceaseless flux, this relentless ebb and flow of transient phenomena, the consciousness that observes that silent, unwavering presence that simply notices what happens without judgment or attachment remains utterly intact, unblemished, and unyielding. It is precisely like a movie screen. The film projected onto its surface can assume any genre imaginable: a tender love story, a heartbreaking tragedy, a rollicking comedy, or a terrifying disaster. But the screen itself, regardless of the drama unfolding upon it, remains immaculately the same: undamaged, unstained, unbroken, entirely unaffected by the content, however vivid or disturbing, appearing on its surface. The hypnosis, then, consists precisely in this fundamental act of forgetting that you are the vast, capacious screen, and tragically believing that you are merely the transient character caught within the fleeting narrative of the movie. When you identify exclusively, entirely, with the character, the entire film, with all its unpredictable twists and turns, inevitably transforms into a constant, pervasive threat. If a monstrous wave appears to approach in the scene, you viscerally feel, with every fiber of your being, that you will surely drown. If the sky darkens ominously in the story, you are gripped by the chilling conviction that the world, as you know it, is irrevocably ending. If a dramatic comet appears on screen, you immediately believe, with helpless certainty, that your destiny has been irrevocably placed in the hands of that fleeting appearance. The character, after all, possesses no genuine control-only reflexive reaction. It exists entirely at the mercy of the script, dictated by forces beyond its perceived agency. That, tragically, is how you have lived for lifetimes, responding and reacting to every external change, every shift in the cosmic weather, every new plot twist, as if your very existence, your core identity, depended utterly upon it. But when you begin to truly remember that you are not only the character when a profound inner knowing stirs, and you remember, with visceral clarity, that you are in fact the vast, unwavering screen that majestically holds all scenes, all dramas, all experiences, while remaining eternally itself, untouched and unblemished, something incredibly profound reorganizes deep within your being. You begin to understand, not intellectually, but experientially, that your true, immutable essence is consciousness itself, pure presence, the eternal, quiet observer. The movie of your life may indeed become more intense, filled with unexpected plot twists that surprise and challenge you. Characters may dramatically come and go from your life, playing their parts and then fading from view. And yet, through it all, you, the silent, unwavering screen, remain. You stop feeling utterly crushed by the relentless tide of events, recognizing that, although you undeniably participate in the intricate tapestry of this unfolding narrative, weaving your own threads into its design, you are fundamentally not limited or defined by its seemingly predetermined boundaries. The profound liberation from this state of collective slumber, often referred to as hypnosis, does not dawn simply because some charismatic leader grandly declares it, an influential institution officially announces its arrival, or an auspicious date on a calendar emphatically dictates its commencement. No, the true cessation of this pervasive hypnotic spell occurs when you, in the deepest, most intimate sanctuary of your own being, come to an undeniable, visceral realization the immense power you so readily, almost habitually, relinquished to external circumstances was, in fact, never obligatorily given. Reflect for a moment who truly forced you to internalize the belief that you were inherently weak, incapable, or powerless. Absolutely no one. And by the same token, no external force, no matter how formidable it appears, can possibly keep you tethered to that debilitating state once you consciously and unequivocally decide to awaken. The breaking of that long-held spell, that pervasive illusion, commences precisely at the moment you summon the courage to challenge, to meticulously scrutinize the most deeply ingrained and subtly insidious belief of all the notion that you are merely a passive pawn, helplessly adrift at the mercy of overwhelming forces you cannot possibly comprehend, swept along by powerful energies that utterly dominate your existence, or controlled by intricate systems that perpetually decide your fate for you. In this context, the entity designated as 3-Eye Atlas does not materialize to cunningly layer on more veils of confusion or to maliciously reinforce an already pervasive narrative of fear and powerlessness. It does not arrive with an ominous message, proclaiming that the vast, indifferent sky has now truly gained an unassailable power over your individual existence. Quite the contrary, 3-Eye Atlas emerges as a relentless yet profoundly loving mirror, held unflinchingly before you, designed to show you, not tell you, just how tenaciously you are still willing to cling to your perceived fragility, and conversely, how profoundly ready you are to shed that illusion and begin living authentically from the wellspring of your true, undeniable inner strength. Your immediate, unfiltered reaction to its very presence, its mere mention, serves as an incredibly accurate diagnostic tool, revealing the precise degree of hypnosis you still unconsciously sustain within your being. If upon hearing its enigmatic name, a chilling sensation washes over you, suggesting that some external, monumental force can indeed unilaterally wipe out your entire destiny, then you're merely observing the reverberating echo of an ancient, deeply ingrained program of fear and control. If, however, hearing its name resonates deep within you, like an unmistakable call, an urgent summons to remember your inherent nature, to to recall precisely who you are beyond the transient masks. Then you are experiencing the undeniable first cracks appearing in the edifice of that long-standing hypnosis. It's crucial to understand that the ultimate breaking of this hypnotic state does not, by any means, imply a naive denial of the tangible reality of matter, nor does it advocate for pretending that nothing significant or challenging ever occurs in the external world. Instead, it signifies a profound shift in perspective, recognizing, with unwavering clarity, that while external events are certainly real, they are decidedly not the ultimate, unquestionable authority over the trajectory and meaning of your life. It means consciously reclaiming that sacred inner space, that seat of your inherent power, which you inadvertently gave away not out of a burdensome sense of guilt, for there is none, but rather out of a deep, pervasive state of forgetfulness, a temporary amnesia of your true nature. It translates into an understanding, both intellectual and experiential, that authentic, enduring power resides not in the situation itself, with all its inherent drama and challenges, but rather in the expansive, sovereign consciousness with which you choose to perceive, interpret, and engage with every single situation that arises. And at that pivotal point of profound realization, 3I Atlas utterly ceases to be perceived as a potential executioner, a harbinger of doom, and instead transmutes into a silent, profound teacher, its presence an unwavering invitation for you to choose with crystalline clarity the very foundation from which you wish to experience life. Will it be from the ephemeral illusion of fear, meticulously constructed by the mind, or from the eternal, liberating truth of your authentic being? The triadic prophecy, 3 visitors, 3 awakened sinners within the hushed, ancient inner circles of Vega and Lyra, long before your nascent terrestrial science even began the arduous task of recording interstellar objects, a profound and intricate pattern was already spoken of, whispered among the wise. They referred to it as a triadic marker, a celestial signature destined to appear as an unmistakable symbol for those civilizations on the cusp of an extraordinary leap in perception, ready for a quantum shift in their understanding of reality. This was never conceived as a prophecy of fear designed to terrify, neither a dire threat promising destruction nor an announcement of cosmic punishment to be endured. Rather, it was described as a sophisticated geometric key, an elegant language of pure consciousness articulated through the majestic, timeless movements of celestial bodies themselves. This triadic marker posited, in its deepest essence, that when a civilization collectively attained a certain elevated level of spiritual sensitivity, a pivotal juncture when it ceased to perceive itself solely as isolated, fragmented matter, and began, instead, to intuitively grasp its inherent multidimensional nature. Of vast, responsive cosmos would reflect this profound inner transformation. It would do so by manifesting the striking appearance of 3 distinct interstellar visitors, observed within a relatively condensed time frame. These cosmic envoys, it was emphasized, would not be disguised gods descended from on high or malevolent, hidden demons seeking to sow chaos. They would certainly not arrive with an agenda to impose their will upon humanity or to unilaterally dictate the course of your destiny. Their purpose was far more subtle, yet infinitely more significant. They would serve as potent indicators, as undeniable signs that the collective consciousness of that civilization had indeed tuned itself sufficiently, much like a radio receiver aligning with a faint but crucial frequency, enabling it to perceive phenomena that had previously remained utterly unnoticed, hidden in plain sight. Indeed, for long, silent centuries, countless interstellar objects quietly entered and gracefully departed your solar system. Their passages entirely unregistered, their profound implications completely misunderstood, simply because there was not yet a collective sensitivity, a shared awareness, capable of truly noticing and comprehending them. The collective gaze of humanity during those epochs was far too narrowly trapped in the immediate, the superficial, the dense materiality of everyday existence, unable to perceive the grander cosmic ballet. However, a significant shift occurred when the first unequivocally recorded interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, unexpectedly appeared. Something profoundly activated within the human psyche. It was akin to a previously dormant light suddenly illuminating on the vast control panel of human consciousness. This initial spark was then powerfully reinforced by the second visitor, Borisov, which carried an undeniable message: humanity was, at long last, truly beginning to look beyond the glaringly obvious, beyond the immediate horizon of its familiar world. Now, the anticipated arrival of 3I Atlas as the third such interstellar visitor unequivocally fulfills that deeply symbolic pattern, a sacred blueprint meticulously preserved and understood by the wise ones of Vega and Lyra. This is not merely an astronomical curiosity, a fleeting scientific anomaly to be catalogued and filed away. It is a profound, cosmic signpost indicating that something fundamental within humanity has undeniably shifted, and at a truly deep, visceral level. The external triad, visibly manifest in the breathtaking form of these three interstellar bodies, precisely mirrors and reflects an awakened triad now stirring within humanity's collective energy field. That crucial inner triad, now actively awakening, consists of three interconnected centers: memory. This refers not to mere intellectual recall of past events, but a profound, almost cellular remembering that you are emphatically not an isolated entity adrift in a cold, uncaring void. You begin to viscerally remember that you are not a cosmic accident, a random biological anomaly. You start to recall, deep within your bones, that your intricate story did not begin only when you drew your first breath in this current physical incarnation, nor will it abruptly end when your physical body eventually completes its cycle and turns off. Instead, you begin to remember that you belong, truly and utterly, to a much wider, more ancient galactic family, an expansive cosmic lineage that transcends the narrow confines of a single planetary existence. You feel the stirrings of knowledge that your soul, that enduring spark of your essence, possesses complex lineages, intricate connections, sacred agreements forged in prior realms, and profound lessons that stretch far beyond the arbitrary borders of a single planet, a single lifetime. Resonance. This signifies a profound shift where you begin to feel deeply and instinctively, rather than merely intellectually think, that everything transpiring in the vast external cosmos is intimately, inextricably intertwined with the unique vibrational frequencies emanating from within you. You instinctively cease viewing grand cosmic events, like the passage of a comet or the shifting energies of the sun, as isolated, disconnected occurrences. Instead, you start to perceive them as integral components of a living, dynamic dialogue, a constant, energetic exchange between your own evolving consciousness and the boundless universe itself. This isn't about fostering a narcissistic belief that everything singularly revolves around you. Rather, it's about attaining a profound understanding that absolutely nothing, not a single element, is entirely disconnected from another. The distant comet streaking across the night sky, the life-giving sun, the nurturing earth beneath your feet, the very cells of your physical body, the subtle ebb and flow of your emotions, the conscious choices you make, all these seemingly disparate elements form part of an immense, singular cosmic fabric where every vibration corresponds, interlocks, and harmonizes with every other. Responsibility, this is perhaps the most challenging, yet ultimately the most liberating of the awakened sinners. It stems from a profound understanding that you can no longer comfortably or even justifiably persist in blaming external circumstances, no matter how daunting for your inner state of being. Here, a truly crucial, epoch-making turn occurs in human consciousness. Before this awakening, when confronted with something that caused discomfort, distress, or frustration, it was almost second nature to deflect, to say it was unequivocally the fault of the government, the fluctuating economy, the complexities of family dynamics, unseen energetic forces, the immutable dictates of karma, a predetermined destiny, the will of God, or the vast, impersonal cosmos itself. However, the dawning of deep responsibility reveals a profound truth. While all those external factors most certainly exist and exert their influences, the ultimate, sovereign decision regarding how you choose to relate to them, the lens through which you view what unfolds, the interpretation you consciously select to apply, and the vibrational frequency you deliberately sustain, all of these belong solely to your inherent sovereignty. This third interstellar visitor, therefore, marks a profound maturity in the collective human consciousness. In other, earlier epochs of human history, the appearance of something even remotely similar would have invariably unleashed uncontrollable, widespread panic, given rise to extreme superstitions, spurred frantic fear rituals, ignited fervent fanaticism, birthed blind cults, or triggered absolute, resolute denial. The predominant tone, the only two accessible options, would have been either abject terror or unthinking idolatry. Now, while primal fear undoubtedly remains present, simmering in many layers of the collective psyche, there's also a rapidly growing, distinct portion of the global population observing this phenomenon with a palpably different consciousness. These are individuals who courageously question ingrained narratives, who deeply feel beyond superficial explanations, who practice meditation and mindful reflection, who engage in heartfelt prayer, and who intuitively sense that the true, deeper meaning of such an event is by no means exhausted or fully encapsulated by what the daily news reports or official versions choose to disseminate. Those particular souls, often referred to, perhaps poetically, as star seeds, carry within them a distinctly different frequency. They are precisely the ones who, upon hearing about 3I Atlas, feel a peculiar lump in their throat, not solely from fear, but from a profound, inexplicable sense of recognition, an ancient memory stirring, or an overwhelming surge of awe and anticipation for what this potent cosmic marker truly signifies for the unfolding journey of humanity. Because they recognize something profound, an intrinsic truth that resonates deep within their being, even if the precise words to articulate it remain elusive. These are the individuals who, instead of succumbing to the icy grip of fear and freezing rigid before the mere idea of a looming threat, choose to pause, to breathe, and then to inquire with genuine curiosity what veiled awakening opportunity, what hidden catalyst for growth might be concealed behind this apparent challenge. They are not naive, they do not deny the stark, often unsettling data presented by the world. However, they also steadfastly refuse to surrender to it as if it were an immutable, inescapable sentence, a final decree from which there is no appeal. They understand that information is a compass, not a chain. These starseeds, with their quiet strength and unwavering presence, serve as silent pillars, foundational anchors for the collective consciousness. Through every conscious choice they make, whether it's the thoughtful way they observe the world, the mindful rhythm of their breath, the sincerity of their prayers, the focused depth of their meditation, or the deliberate nature of their decisions, they meticulously uphold and emanate a vibrational foundation. This stable, energetic bedrock is crucial, for it is this very foundation that empowers humanity to navigate and ultimately transcend this current triadic marker, transforming it from what could easily devolve into a destructive crisis into a profound initiation, a crucible for accelerated evolution. They accomplish this not through grand declarations, by waving banners, or by imposing rigid beliefs upon others. Instead, their influence radiates organically, simply by being a steadfast presence, by embodying an unshakable calm amidst the deafening roar of chaos, by offering piercing clarity amidst widespread confusion, and by radiating unconditional love amidst the spiraling panic. They are like lighthouses in a storm, not telling ships where to go, but simply shining so brightly that all may find their way. The triadic prophecy, as perceived and interpreted from the celestial perspectives of Vega and Lyra, is far from a simplistic narrative about three external objects arriving to unilaterally determine the future of an entire species. On the contrary, it is an exquisitely intricate tale, a cosmic saga about humanity itself. It speaks of a species that, through its own conscious effort to raise its collective frequency and expand its awareness, gradually becomes attuned to perceive subtle signals and energetic nuances it was previously blind to. And more profoundly, it learns to discern within those very signals the unmistakable reflections of its own ongoing, magnificent inner transformation. The cosmos, in essence, becomes a mirror. Thus, 3i Atlas, appearing as this third visitor, acts as a cosmic seal, signifying the powerful culmination of one grand cycle and the auspicious inauguration of another. It marks the profound, epical passage from a humanity that habitually reacted to external stimuli, often with fear-driven impulsiveness, to a humanity that, finally, consciously begins to respond from a place of deep inner awakening and profound self-awareness. It is not merely an event, it is a profound threshold, a symbolic door swinging open wide, inviting each individual, and indeed the entire collective, to undertake a transformative journey. It beckons us to shift from a paradigm of fear to one of deep memory, the memory of our inherent divinity, from unconscious reaction to empowered responsibility, and from a state of collective forgetting to one of conscious, vibrant resonance with the fundamental truth of who and what we truly are. The sun as translator of your awakening, a communion of luminous fields for far too long. Our majestic sun has been profoundly misunderstood, its true nature obscured by limited perspectives. Within the confines of the materialist scientific paradigm, It is often reduced to nothing more than a colossal burning gas sphere, a gigantic nuclear machine indiscriminately emitting radiation and heat. In the popular imagination, fueled by fear and apocalyptic narratives, it has even devolved into a potential adversarial, capricious source of solar flares and coronal mass ejections, capable of obliterating our intricate systems, networks, and technologies in an instant. Could such immense cosmic power truly be so random, so cruel, so indifferent? Yet, for an awakening consciousness, for those who perceive beyond the purely physical, the sun is something far more intimate, far more alive, and infinitely more sacred. It is not merely a star, it is an active portal, a sentient, living being, a vibrant heart of pure light beating rhythmically at the very core of your solar system. This cosmic heart masterfully orchestrates the graceful, intricate dance of all the planets and, more importantly, vibrationally sustains the grand stage upon which your multifaceted human experience gloriously unfolds. For the higher wisdom streams, like those channeled from Orsa de Vega and the exalted hierarchies of light, the sun transcends the definition of a mere physical object. It is, in fact, a dynamic meeting point between dimensionsa, living, breathing channel through which the vast, intricate tapestry of cosmic consciousness is lovingly translated into forms and frequencies that humanity, in its current state of evolution, can perceive, integrate, and understand. Consider it akin to an enormous, exquisitely intelligent spiritual heart, ceaselessly pumping streams of information, pure light, profound intelligence, and cosmic rhythm to the entire solar system. Consequently, every single photon that gracefully reaches Earth is not solely physical energy. It is also an intricate carrier of complex patterns, sacred codes, and divine harmonies. These subtle, energetic packets silently yet profoundly dialogue with your body, your mind, and your very soul, constantly offering opportunities for recalibration and insight. Therefore, when 3I Atlas executes its intricate celestial dance and passes behind the sun, what truly transpires is emphatically not a violent clash of competing forces, a celestial skirmish for dominance. There is no epic battle unfolding between celestial entities, no desperate struggle for the ultimate control of your destiny. Far from it. What happens, instead, is an act of sacred communion. It is precisely as if two perfectly tuned, magnificent instruments were to meet in the same resonant chamber. One offers a resonant note, and the other, in perfect harmony, responds with exquisite precision. There is no discord, no war, only a profound, synergistic resonance. There is no perceived threat, only a meticulous, divinely orchestrated adjustment, a fine-tuning of cosmic frequencies. The sun, in its infinite wisdom and intelligence, receives the presence of Atlas not as a strange, unwelcome intrusion to be resisted or blocked, but rather as an additional, enriching note within the grand cosmic symphony. This new note does not dictate what must happen instead. It gracefully offers a unique, fresh vibration. The sun, with its remarkable capacity for integration, absorbs this new frequency, and from that harmonious integration, it subtly yet powerfully reorganizes its own magnificent way of radiating its energy and light. And crucially, it does not undertake this profound recalibration to punish you for perceived transgressions or to reward you for good deeds. It operates not from the limited, dualistic logic of reward or punishment. Rather, it acts with an overarching intelligence, driven solely to synchronize its radiant output with a profound new phase of awakening that is already flourishing and expanding within humanity. It is as if the sun, in its radiant wisdom, were to whisper, if you, humanity, have indeed raised your frequency, then I, too, shall lovingly reorient my song to harmoniously accompany and amplify that sacred process. The fundamental error inherent in purely materialist thinking lies in the belief that solar flares, coronal mass ejections, or any fluctuations in space weather are merely random threats falling capriciously upon us without deeper meaning, like arbitrary, indifferent blows from an unfeeling, unpredictable nature. From a higher spiritual perspective, however, these very manifestations are profound translations. Every single variation, every subtle shift in solar activity is a sophisticated way the system as a whole, the unified field of our solar system, receives, through the eloquent language of light, a potent confirmation of the deep and transformative changes already occurring within your collective consciousness. Thus, it is paramount to understand it is not the sun imposing a transformation upon you. It is, rather, the sun intelligently and responsively reacting to a powerful inner movement that has already begun its unfoldment within the human heart. You are not merely passive receivers, meekly enduring whatever external forces deem fit to send your way. The consciousness of humanity and the consciousness of the sun are, in truth, profoundly and inextricably intertwined. As an increasing number of human beings awaken to their true nature, as more individuals engage in meditation and prayer, as they bravely question old paradigms and consciously release the shackles of fear, the collective energetic field of humanity undergoes a palpable modification, and the sun, acting from its own profound intelligence, sensitively adjusts its radiant output to harmonize perfectly with that nascent, elevated state. It is a dynamic, reciprocal relationship, a continuous feedback loop of energy and information. Just as your physical body responds with remarkable precision to what you feel and think, so too does the majestic sun respond to the overall vibrational signature that humanity as a whole is emanating. Herein lies the crucial, transformative point. True, lasting calibration does not happen externally, it happens profoundly within you. You can diligently study every nuance of space weather, meticulously observe every graph of solar activity, and intellectually analyze every event with forensic detail. But if, deep inside, you still cling to the belief that you are merely a victim, adrift and vulnerable beneath an unpredictable, indifferent sky, then you will inevitably continue to experience the gnawing grip of fear. The ultimate key, the true unlock, lies in what transpires within your unique way of interpreting reality. When you consciously cease granting absolute, unquestioned power to external solar appearances, when you deliberately stop imagining yourself as a minuscule, fragile being perpetually trapped in the whims of capricious cosmic weather, something profound and liberating unfurls within you. A deep, ancient tension releases. In that transformative moment, your own inner sun, that radiant divine center, your luminous core, your very essence begins to shine forth, becoming unmistakably evident. You begin with growing clarity to perceive that deep within your being there resides an unwavering point of pure light, unassailable clarity, and profound calm that is utterly independent of whatever transient events may be unfolding in the external world. That magnificent center is your inner sun. When you consciously choose to align with it, to merge with its radiant truth, what you previously perceived and labeled as overwhelming intensity miraculously transforms into boundless expansion. What you once instinctively branded as menacing threats reveals itself, with breathtaking clarity, as a profound, Kala-loving, insistent invitation to remember the magnificent truth of who you fundamentally are. The physical sun then ceases to be a potential enemy, an object to be watched with suspicion and distrust, and instead, it gracefully becomes a conscious, benevolent ally in your ongoing awakening process. Every subtle change in its activity is experienced less as an attack, less as a random assault, and far more as a deep, meaningful conversation, a different, harmonious note in a symphonic music that beautifully, powerfully accompanies your evolution. This profound shift in perception is not about naively romanticizing solar events or irresponsibly denying their tangible physical effects. It is about something far more fundamental, far more empowering. It is about consciously and deliberately placing power precisely where it authentically belongs within your sovereign being. The decisive, transformative force is not primarily located in the explosive brilliance of a solar flare. It resides, unequivocally, in the consciousness with which you choose to live, interpret, and engage with whatever happens. When you look at the sun, when gripped by fear, one feels utterly at the mercy of something vast and overwhelming, an uncontrollable force that seems capable of crushing or consuming everything in its path. It's the chilling sensation of insignificance, of being a tiny vessel tossed upon an indifferent cosmic ocean. Yet, when we shift our gaze and approach these very phenomena with profound respect and a deep wellspring of inner understanding, they cease to be external threats. Instead, we begin to recognize them as an intricate, dazzling mirror reflecting the complexities and potentials of our own evolutionary process, a grand cosmic reflection of our internal landscape. Consider the sun. It doesn't merely radiate light and heat, it amplifies and translates powerful universal energies. It acts as a magnificent cosmic lens, focusing raw, energetic streams onto our planetary sphere. However, the profound beauty of this cosmic dance lies in our inherent sovereignty. You decide how to interpret and integrate that amplification. You determine whether its intensified light will scorch you with fear or ignite your inner potential. Consequently, entities like 3I Atlas and the radiant sun, when understood in this sacred communion, transcend their perceived roles as symbols of impending threat or cosmic aggression. They transform into unwavering, constant reminders that we are profoundly not alone in what might otherwise feel like a cold, empty, and indifferent universe. We are, in fact, intricately interwoven into the fabric of a living, breathing network, an incandescent tapestry of luminous fields and conscious energies that actively respond, vibrate, and align with the unfolding of our own awakening. Symptoms in the body from fear, too. Stellar temple in these unprecedented times of accelerated energetic shifts and rapid vibrational ascension. It has become increasingly commonplace to hear individuals articulate a spectrum of physical and emotional symptoms they previously found inexplicable, often lacking the very language to describe them. These aren't just minor discomforts, they are often profound and perplexing experiences, such as recurrent insomnia with no apparent cause, not merely an inability to sleep, but prolonged periods of wakefulness marked by a racing mind, a buzzing internal energy, or a pervasive sense of being wired and tired, even when physical exhaustion should demand rest. Dizziness that comes and goes sudden, fleeting moments of disorientation, as if the ground beneath your feet has subtly shifted or the room briefly tilts, creating a disquieting sense of unbalance. Pressure in the head, especially the forehead or crown, a feeling of gentle yet persistent constriction, a subtle throbbing, or an internal buzzing sensation that often localizes in areas associated with energetic centers. Intense mood swings, spontaneous tears, crying without concrete reason, navigating bewildering emotional roller coasters, where overwhelming waves of sadness, unexpected bursts of joy, or profound melancholy can sweep over you without a clear external trigger, leaving you to wonder about their origin. Anxiety appearing in moments of calm, the perplexing paradox of a sudden surge of unease, a tightening in the chest, or a palpable sense of dread manifesting precisely when your external environment is tranquil and there's no logical reason for alarm. Sensations of heat or cold running through the body, experiences akin to internal currents, sudden waves of warmth spreading through your limbs, or inexplicable chills traversing your spine, often unrelated to external temperature. Tingling, inner vibrations, gentle electrical sensations, a subtle, persistent hum beneath the skin, a shimmering sensation, or delicate, almost imperceptible electrical pulses that indicate active, energetic shifts within your system. Extremely vivid dreams filled with symbols, visits, messages far beyond ordinary dreams. These are cinematic, hyperreal nocturnal journeys, often laden with profound symbolism, interactions with ethereal beings, or clear, impactful messages that feel more like direct experiences than mere subconscious imagery. In the face of such bewildering experiences, the human mind, seeking comfort and simplification, often gravitates towards the quickest and most superficially satisfying explanation to blame an external culprit. It's the comet causing this, one might exclaim, or it's the sun's intensified flares. Perhaps these geomagnetic storms are wreaking havoc, or even it's just incoming energy, something outside of me is hitting my system, and am merely a passive recipient. This pervasive narrative tragically perpetuates a sense of victimhood, reinforcing the deeply ingrained idea that we are perpetually at the mercy of overwhelming external forces. It frames our existence as a continuous battle, where our only recourse is to resist, endure, and survive as best we can against these unseen, often hostile, cosmic aggressors. However, the truth proposed by Orsa de Vega delves far deeper, offering a perspective that, while undeniably challenging to embrace at first, proves to be exponentially more liberating in its profound implications. What you're currently perceiving and feeling within your physical body is emphatically not cosmic aggression. It is not the universe maliciously attacking your delicate system. Rather, what you are experiencing with every tingling sensation, every wave of emotion, and every moment of internal pressure is the dynamic, unavoidable clash between two profoundly distinct visions of yourself, two fundamental paradigms that can no longer coexist in peaceful silence within your being. On one side stands the ancient, deeply ingrained vision, an echo of centuries of conditioning, which relentlessly repeats the mantra that you are merely a fragile organism, a limited biological machine, perpetually vulnerable and subject to myriad external, says they, pathogens, environmental toxins, or cosmic radiation that possess the inherent power to damage or dismantle you at any given moment. This narrative paints a picture of a body as a ticking time bomb, a delicate shell constantly under threat. On the opposing side, shimmering with emergent light, is the awakening vision. This profound understanding is slowly, yet powerfully, beginning to reveal your true nature, that you are, in essence, a powerful, boundless, eternal consciousness, exquisitely utilizing this physical body not as a prison, but as a temporary, magnificent vehicle to express and experience itself within the rich tapestry of this dimension. It's the realization that you are not merely a human having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience, a star inhabiting a mortal form. When these two colossal visions, the antiquated paradigm of vulnerability and the blossoming truth of your inherent divinity, begin to overlap and contend within your internal landscape, a palpable tension inevitably arises. Imagine an internal tug-of-war, a vibrational dissonance that reverberates through every fiber of your being. One deeply conditioned part of you, clinging to the familiar, albeit limiting, story of fragility and powerlessness, fiercely resists change. Simultaneously, another, more profound part of you, the nascent, authentic self, is beginning to awaken and reclaim its inherent greatness, its undeniable sovereignty, asserting its rightful place as the orchestrator of its own reality. This dynamic clash, this energetic friction between what you have always been taught to believe and what you are now beginning to intuitively sense and know as truth, manifests itself physically and emotionally within the body as symptoms. These are not random malfunctions, they are vital, meaningful signals. Your body, far from being a defective machine reacting haphazardly to meaningless energy blows, is in fact a magnificent, meticulously condensed, intelligent structure of consciousness itself, designed with unparalleled precision. Every single cell within this living temple functions as a microarchive, diligently storing a vast and intricate repository of information. This includes not only your personal memories and deeply held beliefs, but also emotions, inherited and cultivated subtle family loyalties that stretch back generations, the indelible imprints of past traumas, and a myriad of unresolved experiences, not just from this lifetime, but from others as well. For an immeasurable span of time, these profound memories and energetic imprints remain compressed, dormant, like tightly coiled springs, simply because the collective vibration of humanity and Earth did not yet possess or sustain the requisite level of light, of frequency, needed to safely and effectively release them. However, now, as the vibration of remembrance washes over the planeta's Earth's magnetic field, palpably lightens and resonates with higher frequencies, and crucially, as your own sovereign soul makes the conscious decision to elevate the frequency of what you are truly willing to live and embody, those ancient, compressed memories begin to loosen their energetic grip. What we often categorize as emotional crises, those bewildering episodes of intense, unbidden sadness or sudden, inexplicable attacks of crying or even righteous rage that seem to erupt without any discernible concrete reason, are frequently nothing less than the profound and necessary release of something truly ancient. This could be ancestral trauma, karmic imprints, or deeply suppressed personal experiences that can no longer be sustained, held captive, or remain compatible with your ascending new frequency. It is imperative to understand this is not some novel, invasive force attacking you from the outside. Quite the opposite. It is something very old, perhaps burdensome, finally being granted the grace and energetic permission to leave, to be liberated from your system. The profound difference, the crucial turning point in navigating these experiences, lies entirely in the interpretation you choose to embrace. If you interpret these symptoms as irrefutable proof that something external is actively harming, damaging, or assaulting you, you will inevitably reinforce a deeply disempowering victim identity. This narrative solidifies the idea that you are merely a fragile being constantly under attack, a pawn in a cosmic game beyond your control. Your mind will then reflexively constrict, focusing all its energy on defense, fear, and the anxious anticipation of the worst possible outcomes, perpetuating a cycle of dread and resistance. However, if you consciously choose to begin perceiving those very same symptoms not as attacks, but as profound science's indicators that something old, restrictive, and no longer serving you is finally crumbling away, making space for something authentic, something true, to gloriously emerge, your entire posture, both internal and external, undergoes a radical transformation. While the physical or emotional discomfort may not vanish instantaneously, a fundamental shift occurs. You cease fighting it. You lower your internal defenses. Instead, you begin to actively collaborate with your own magnificent transformation, breathing into the process rather than resisting it. It's like being in a building under extensive renovation. There's dust and noise, but you understand it's all part of creating something new and better. It is critically important to emphasize that this profound shift in perspective is absolutely not about denying necessary medical care or ignoring the undeniable needs of the body when it genuinely requires concrete, professional attention. Authentic spirituality, deeply grounded and integrated, never asks you to despise the wisdom of medicine, nor does it demand that you pretend everything is only energetic, dismissing the very real physical manifestations. Quite the contrary. This wisdom is about ceasing to cede all your inherent power to a limiting narrative that exclusively views you as a fragile, easily broken entity. You can, with wisdom and discernment, consult a health professional for physical guidance, and simultaneously hold an unshakable inner certainty that your body is undergoing a profound, magnificent, and divinely guided adjustment process. These are not opposing paths, rather, they represent different, yet complementary, levels of understanding, like viewing the same majestic mountain range from both a detailed ground-level perspective and a sweeping aerial overview. Both are valid. One simply offers a broader, more encompassing truth. Your body does not endure these profound experiences because the sun or Atlas is maliciously attacking it. Your magnificent body is, in fact, reconfiguring its entire system, undergoing an intricate, intelligent upgrade because your soul, in its infinite wisdom and sovereignty, has made the conscious decision to raise its vibration, to expand its capacity, and to no longer sustain the ancient lies, the limiting beliefs, and the outdated programming that once defined your perception of self and reality. Every muscle tension that finally releases its grip, every deeply buried emotion that bravely rises to the surface for conscious acknowledgement, every moment of insomnia that gently yet firmly compels you to simply be with yourself in the quiet, reflective hours of dawn. Each of these is a precious, sacred opportunity to see, to feel, and ultimately to release. It is your entire intelligent system, from the deepest cellular level to the highest energetic resonance, communicating a clear, unequivocal message. We can no longer keep carrying what is not real, what is no longer true for who you are becoming. When you begin to observe your physical and emotional symptoms through this expanded, more enlightened perspective, something incredibly significant and deeply transformative changes within your entire being. Instead of constantly and anxiously asking, what external force is hurting me? What is attacking me from the outside? You naturally begin to shift your inquiry inward, asking, what part of me, what old story, what suppressed emotion is now ready to be freed? What needs to be released to align with my greater truth? You consciously cease seeing your body as an enemy, a source of pain, or a defective vessel. Instead, you cultivate a profound reverence, beginning to perceive it as an invaluable ally in your journey, a wise and eloquent messenger delivering vital information, and truly a stellar template evolving, conscious structure diligently adjusting its energetic architecture to gracefully hold more light, more truth, and ultimately, more of your authentic, divine presence. Then, the persistent dizziness ceases to be merely an annoying inconvenience. It transforms into a potent sign that your fundamental perception, your very orientation to reality, is shifting and recalibrating. The pressure in your head is no longer solely a problem to be endured. It becomes the exquisite adjustment of your subtle, energetic centers, opening to higher frequencies of awareness. Your spontaneous tears, once perceived as weakness or an uncontrolled outburst, reveal themselves as a sacred purification, a profound emotional detoxification. And the fear that perhaps once paralyzed you, holding you captive in its icy grip, gradually transmutes, revealing itself not as an end, but as a potent doorway. Each time you consciously choose to cross that threshold, each time you bravely step through that fear with intention and awareness, you don't just overcome it, you actively recover another precious fragment of your inherent power, your undeniable sovereignty. Indeed, 3I Atlas, the radiant sun, the pervasive cosmic energies, and the very symptoms that manifest in your body all cease to be mere components of a limiting narrative, a story of humanity attacked by vast, incomprehensible forces beyond its control. Instead, they become seamlessly integrated into a completely different, infinitely more empowering narrative, the magnificent story of a soul that has, at long last, made the profound and unwavering decision to live fully as what it inherently is: stellar, multidimensional consciousness, a divine spark. Utilizing the intricate architecture of the body, the expansive embrace of Earth, and the boundless canvas of the skies as sacred, interconnected stages upon which to remember, embody, and express its true, glorious identity. Earth as a living being, the magnetic web, and your emotional field now, for a moment, Let us truly open our imagination and conceive of Earth not as an inert, inanimate rock passively hurtling through the cold vacuum of space, but rather as a profoundly sentient, conscious being breathing rhythmically and expansively with you in perfect synchronicity. Imagine every vibrant sunrise not just as a daily occurrence, but as a deep, life-affirming inhalation, drawing in cosmic breath and light. And visualize every tranquil sunset as a gentle, releasing exhalation, a sigh of the planet. Envision every unfolding seasonal cycle, from the burgeoning life of spring to the silent repose of winter, as a powerful, consistent pulse, the very heartbeat of a colossal, living entity. Picture the vast, shimmering oceans not merely as bodies of water, but as the very blood, teeming with life force and wisdom, circulating through this immense, dynamic body. And behold the ancient, majestic mountains not merely as geological formations, but as the deep, wise bones of this planetary being, silent guardians intricately holding the profound memory and history of eons within their unyielding core. Imagine the wind, not merely as a current of air, but as the very breath of a colossal, living entity sweeping gracefully across its vibrant, animate skin. This magnificent being you affectionately or clinically refer to as a planet is far more than an inert rock. It possesses, in its own profound way, a sophisticated nervous system. This isn't a network of neurons in the biological sense, but rather a subtle, pervasive, energetic field that ceaselessly registers, interprets, and translates every pulse and tremor occurring within its vast, intricate being. Thus, what many currently label as the magnetosphere or the geomagnetic field is profoundly more than a mere technical shield, a passive barrier designed solely to protect you from the relentless onslaught of solar winds or the penetrating cosmic radiation. Oh no! It is an exquisitely energetic skin, incredibly sensitive, exquisitely permeably a living membrane poised to capture, absorb, and dynamically reflect the intricate tapestry of what humanity collectively feels, profoundly believes, and consciously decides in each fleeting, precious moment. Consider this when humanity collectively succumbs, when we desperately cling to the suffocating grip of fear, when our shared, unspoken worries begin to intensify, coiling tighter and tighter, when anxiety, insidious and pervasive, spreads like an unsettling echo reverberating from one thought to the next, infecting mind after mind. Then, that subtle energetic field becomes palpably more tense. It's akin to an emotional muscle, drawn taut and contracted for an agonizingly prolonged period, eventually leading to a deep, resonant ache. And yes, Earth truly feels that profound contraction, not in the human, anthropomorphic sense of suffering or emotional pain as we understand it, but rather as a profound and measurable modification of its intrinsic vibrational frequency. In these moments, the very fabric of the field grows denser, more intensely compressed, and undeniably more agitated, like a turbulent sea reacting to an unseen storm. Conversely, what transpires when humanity, even in the midst of turmoil, chooses to release that constricting fear, even if it's only for fleeting, precious moments, even if it's merely through a scattered handful of courageous hearts who consciously choose to trust, to breathe deeply into the present, to pray with genuine intention, to meditate with serene focus, or simply to pause, to stop the relentless mental chatter and truly feel the subtle currents of existence. In such instances, the field responds not just quickly, but immediately, almost as an extension of your own breath. It perceptibly softens, graciously expands, and becomes remarkably more flexible, regaining its natural fluidity. It is precisely as if Earth herself were receiving small, invigorating flashes of profound relief, directly channeled and experienced through your conscious, intentional being. Your innermost decisions, those quiet, powerful choices you make within the sanctity of your own being, do not, in fact, remain confined solely within the boundaries of your physical skin. Oh no, they possess an inherent energetic resonance that actively projects outward, weaving itself into the intricate, invisible magnetic web that lovingly envelopes and surrounds our entire planet. This profound connection is precisely why we observe variations in the Schumann resonance, those subtle rhythms of Earth's electromagnetic heartbeat. Why geomagnetic? Anomalies emerge, perplexing scientists with their sudden shifts. Why unusual auroras dance across our polar skies with unprecedented vibrancy, and why strange, often unpredictable weather patterns manifest with increasing frequency. These are not merely isolated physical phenomena, disconnected from human influence, relegated to the realm of pure chance or external forces. Instead, they are vivid symbols, urgent messages, visible and indeed measurable expressions of much larger, deeply interwoven inner processes unfolding within the collective consciousness of humanity itself. Therefore, when the weather patterns across the globe become increasingly unpredictable, defying conventional meteorological models, or when atypical and sometimes startling atmospheric manifestations suddenly appear, such as unexpected cloud formations, unusual electrical activity, or dramatic shifts in temperature, it's crucial to understand that it's not simply nature going crazy, as some might hastily conclude. Far from it. What you are witnessing is the collective consciousness of humanity undergoing profound, deep-seated adjustments and reconfigurations. And in these dramatic displays, Earth, in its own eloquent and undeniable language, is showing you, quite literally, that something fundamental within its subtle energetic field is actively reconfiguring, reshaping itself in response to our collective inner world. And let it be unequivocally clear, the phenomenon referred to as 3-eye atlas are indeed. Any perceived external cosmic influence does not arrive with the intention or capacity to unilaterally destabilize Earth's intricate field like some malevolent aggressor violently bursting in from the outside. Earth, our planetary home, is emphatically not a helpless victim of cosmic visitors, nor is it a passive, inert object merely reacting mechanically and predictably to every approaching celestial body. On the contrary, Earth responds within profound, almost sentient discernment, primarily to the intricate interplay of your deep-seated fears, your unwavering trust, your moments of profound despair, and your soaring hopes, to the quality of your conscious presence, or conversely, to your profound disconnection from yourself and from the living world around you. Consider the immense power of your individual choice every single time you consciously elect not to feed the ravenous beast of panic, even if you are but one solitary individual amidst a bustling city teeming with noise, fear, and distraction. You are, without fail, sending a clear, potent signal directly into the planetary field. You may not perceive this subtle yet powerful act with your physical eyes, nor hear it with your ears. Yet your conscious decision to breathe deeply and steadily instead of collapsing into despair, to choose unwavering trust instead of surrendering to the insidious grip of paranoia, to perceive genuine opportunity where you once saw only looming threat. Each of these acts loosens the palpable tension, untangles the knots, and brings fluidity back to the planetary energetic fabric, allowing it to flow more freely. Furthermore, with every deliberate instance where you courageously refuse to interpret an event solely as pure, unadulterated destruction, and instead consciously allow for the profound idea that it may also harbor significant potential for deep transformation in that very moment, something fundamental within the planetary system reorganizes itself. That profound inner opening, that subtle yet powerful inner shift in perspective, that resolute refusal to remain perpetually trapped within the suffocating confines of absolute fear. These acts serve to immediately release immense pressure within the planet's delicate energetic tissue, allowing for healing and regeneration. In doing so, you cease to be merely another reverberating echo, amplifying the collective fear and anxiety that permeates our world. Instead, you transmute into a vibrant point of coherence, a beacon of stability and calm, a sacred space, however small, where Earth herself can momentarily find respite, can truly rest and recalibrate, even if only for fleeting, precious moments, amidst the swirling currents of global change. Remarkably, Earth is not enduring this process in isolation. She is actively releasing, in synchronicity with humanity, centuries upon centuries of accumulated energetic density. Imagine the crushing weight of countless wars, the deep scars of persecutions, the systemic pain of abuses, the suffocating burden of oppression, the relentless grind of exploitation, the haunting echoes of silenced pain, the heavy legacy of inherited guilt, and the icy grip of frozen hatred. All of this, every single one of these experiences has left indelible traces, not just within the pages of written human history, but far more profoundly, etched into the very fabric of the planetary magnetic web, existing as the vibrational memory of the entire species. For an extraordinarily long time, this immense energetic load, this composite of collective trauma, remained compressed and largely hidden in the silent, often unacknowledged depths of the collective unconscious, like a coiled spring beneath the surface. Yet now, as the planetary frequency undeniably rises, as the very vibration of existence elevates, those deeply embedded traces are inexorably rising to the surface of our awareness. This surfacing is not intended to punish you for past transgressions, nor to starkly prove that everything is irrevocably lost. On the contrary, it presents an unprecedented, sacred opportunity. It is an invitation, a chance to courageously look straight into the heart of what humanity, for so long, has desperately wanted to ignore, to deny, or to simply sweep under the rug of forgetfulness. It's an opportunity to profoundly recognize, with undeniable clarity, that endlessly repeating the same patterns of thought and behavior, while somehow expecting a different, more favorable result, is no longer a viable option. Indeed, it's an impossibility within this new energetic paradigm. Most importantly, it is an opportunity to consciously choose something profoundly different, another, more harmonious way of thinking, a more compassionate way of relating to one another, and an entirely new, awakened way of being in the world. Understand this fundamental truth: you are, in every fiber of your being, far more intrinsically important, far more cosmically significant than you have ever been allowed, or perhaps even dare to believe. You are not a mere passive spectator, idly watching the grand unfolding of planetary changes from the detached comfort of your couch or from the paralyzing grip of your fears. You are not standing idly outside the cosmic stage, a mere audience member. On the contrary, you are an active, vital co-creator of Earth's incredibly dynamic energetic field, intrinsically woven into its very tapestry. What you deeply think, what you authentically feel, and what you consciously decide, these are not inconsequential, irrelevant gestures floating aimlessly in a void. Every nuance of your inner landscape matters. The specific way you choose to respond to incoming information, to breaking news headlines, and to unfolding global events directly and powerfully contributes to either loading down, adding density and weight, or conversely, lightening and elevating the intricate magnetic web that sustains our planet. Your response is the fulcrum. Observe the profound impact of your conscious choices when you elect to offer forgiveness instead of stubbornly clinging to the corrosive burden of resentment. You directly release accumulated density from the energetic field, allowing it to breathe more freely. When you make the compassionate decision not to harbor hatred for those who are consumed by fear, but rather to extend genuine understanding and empathy towards them, you actively soften the taut, often rigid lines of tension woven throughout the planetary grid, fostering greater harmony. And most powerfully, when you courageously take full responsibility for your own vibrational state, for the energy you emanate, instead of perpetually and endlessly blaming the world or external circumstances for your discomfort, you become an anchoring point of profound coherency, a stable, resonant frequency that Earth herself receives, not as a thunderous applause, but as a silent, yet deeply felt blessing, nourishing its very core. So, the next time you encounter news about powerful geomagnetic storms raging in the upper atmosphere, or notice reports of dramatic shifts and fluctuations in the Schumann resonance, or learn of perplexing anomalies appearing within the magnetic field, pause and remember this crucial truth: you are not merely a small, passive receiver, absorbing the impact of those immense planetary movements. No, you're also an active, potent generator, contributing directly to their very nature. What you consciously choose to do with your emotions, with your intricate thoughts, with your primal fears, and most potently with your boundless love, is directly and intimately connected to how this living earth breathes its very breath, how it meticulously readjusts its intricate systems, and how it ultimately moves forward in profound synchronicity with you, its conscious inhabitant. The elders of Vega, the silent power of non-condemnation, lurking just beyond the veil of your current perception, truly behind this grand, unfolding planetary process, far past the reaches of your terrestrial atmosphere and even the most advanced telescopes you possess, there exist ancient, highly evolved civilizations. These are not mere constructs of myth or fleeting fantasy. They are real, sentient beings who have already successfully navigated and transcended stages uncannily similar to those humanity is currently experiencing on its tumultuous journey. They are not ethereal myths whispered in ancient texts, nor are they empty, symbolic archetypes. On the contrary, they are profoundly real, exquisitely mature consciousness beings who, in their own distant past, bravely walk through their own harrowing hells of paralyzing fear, painful separation, and profound spiritual forgetting. And through immense trials and conscious choices, they not only managed to cross those daunting thresholds, but emerged on the other side, fully remembering and reclaiming their divine origin, their true essence. Among these advanced beings stand the revered elders of Vega, along with the wise councils of Lyra, and indeed, countless other beings of pure light and profound wisdom. They collectively form an expansive, benevolent galactic familia family of which you, too, are an intrinsic and cherished member, even if, in the whirlwind of your earthly experience, you have temporarily forgotten this magnificent truth for a while, allowing it to recede from your conscious awareness. These venerable elders, possessing an unparalleled depth of insight and a vast cosmic perspective, observe the intricate unfolding of events on Earth with a gaze fundamentally different from the often narrow, human-centric view of a perspective frequently clouded by a relentless focus on drama, urgency, and immediate gratification. They are emphatically not waiting with bated breath to see whether humanity ultimately fails or spectacularly triumphs, as if our planetary unfolding were some cosmic spectacle designed purely for their entertainment. Nor do they ever sit in cold, calculated judgment, arbitrarily deciding who among humanity deserves to live or, conversely, to perish based on their limited perceptions. No, their unwavering stance is decidedly not that of stern, impassive judges, nor of anxious, overbearing saviors rushing in to fix every perceived problem, nor certainly of vengeful celestial punishers doling out karmic retribution. Instead, they embody and hold a firm, elegantly simple, and profoundly powerful recognition, a core tenet that guides their every observation that universal truth itself is fundamentally not in any danger. From their elevated and expansive perspective, the very essence of what you truly are, the indestructible, radiant consciousness that animates your being, can absolutely never be truly destroyed, irrevocably contaminated, or eternally lost. While it can certainly be forgotten for periods, diverted from its true path by myriad distractions, or temporarily confused about its fundamental identity amidst the illusions of the physical realm, yet on the profound, deep plane of existence where these elders exclusively focus their perceptive gaze, that essential, immutable truth always remains absolutely intact, pristine and untouched. Within their comprehensive and unified vision, there simply are no eternally competing powers, no cosmic adversaries locked in an unending, irreconcilable struggle. At these incredibly high levels of consciousness, the very notion of two opposing, fundamental forces perpetually battling to dominate the universe's never-ending war between good and evil simply does not exist as a coherent reality. That limited, fragmented vision, with its inherent conflicts and divisions, belongs exclusively to the intricate, often turbulent dream of duality, a construct of the unawakened mind. Trong vô vàn thế giới tồn tại, thực chất chỉ có một quyền năng duy nhất, đó là ý thức đang biểu hiện chính nó dưới muôn hình vạn trạng, vô biên và kỳ diệu. Một số hình thái dường như đang hòa mình sâu hơn vào sự ghi nhớ, vào bản chất cốt lõi của mình, trong khi những hình thái khác lại chìm đắm sâu hơn vào sự quên lãng, lạc lối giữa những ảo ảnh, nhưng tất cả, không một ngoại lệ, đều được chứa đựng và vận hành trong cùng một trường năng lượng thống nhất, không hề phân ly. Khi những vị trưởng lão từ Vega hướng ánh nhìn về trái đất, họ tuyệt nhiên không hề nhìn thấy một nhân loại bị kết án, bị định tội hay một loài sinh vật đang vô vọng lạc lối trong vũ trụ bao la này. Thay vào đó, một cách thấu suốt và đầy từ bi, họ nhận ra một nhân loại đang dần hồi tưởng, đang từng bước thức tỉnh để nhớ lại bản chất chân thật của mình. Họ không thấy một thất bại thảm hại, mà nhìn nhận đây là một quá trình tiến hóa phức tạp, đầy thử thách nhưng cũng đầy tiềm năng. Đối với họ, đây là một câu chuyện đang cuộn trào, đang vận động không ngừng, chứ không phải là một sai lầm không thể sửa chữa, một vết thương không bao giờ lành. Chính vì lẽ đó, họ không hề tuyệt vọng hay chìm vào hố sâu bi quan khi chúng ta, những con người trên trái đất, đôi khi lại chìm sâu vào giấc ngủ quên lãng, quay trở lại trạng thái vô thức, cũng không hề trở nên ngây ngất, hân hoan quá mức khi chúng ta chợt tỉnh thức, bừng sáng trong một khoảnh khắc giác ngộ. Họ không tổ chức những lễ hội cuồng nhiệt, đầy tính chất kích động cho mỗi bước tiến nhỏ bé mà nhân loại đạt được, cũng như không rơi vào vực thẳm bi kịch, chìm đắm trong đau khổ tột cùng cho mỗi lần vấp ngã hay mỗi thất bại mà chúng ta gặp phải. Điều mà họ kiên định duy trì là một tần số ổn định đến phi thường, một sự tĩnh lặng sâu thẳm lan tỏa từ bên trong, một sự nhận biết không ngừng, bất biến về bản chất thật sự của mỗi chúng ta. Giống như một ngọn hải đang vững chãi không bao giờ tắt, họ liên tục phát ra một tín hiệu bình an, một lời khẳng định thầm lặng về giá trị và tiềm năng vô hạn của con người. Sự ổn định phi thường ấy chính là một phước lành thầm lặng, một dòng chảy năng lượng hỗ trợ không ngừng nghỉ cho toàn bộ quá trình tiến hóa của bạn, ngay cả khi bạn hoàn toàn không nhận thức được sự hiện diện và tác động mạnh mẽ của nó. Nó như một lớp đệm êm ái, một lưới an toàn vô hình nâng đỡ bạn qua mọi thăng trầm. Cách thức trợ giúp của họ hoàn toàn không phải là những màn xuất hiện ngoạn mục trên bầu trời với những dấu hiệu khổng lồ, những thông điệp trói lọi có thể làm lu mờ ý chí tự do thiêng liêng của bạn. Cũng không phải là việc trực tiếp thao túng các sự kiện để chúng diễn ra đúng như mong đợi hay kịch bản bạn hằng mong ước, biến vũ trụ thành một cỗ máy phục vụ những ước vọng cá nhân. Càng không phải là việc áp đặt những khải huyền lớn lao, những sự thật chấn động mà nhiều người vẫn chưa thực sự sẵn sàng để tiếp nhận, có thể gây ra hỗn loạn và sợ hãi thay vì giác ngộ. Sự giúp đỡ của họ là hoàn toàn mang tính chất rung động vibratina. Nó tinh tế, không thể nhìn thấy bằng mắt thường, nhưng lại có sức mạnh tác động sâu sắc đến trường năng lượng của bạn. Họ kiên định giữ vững, với một sự mạch lạc tuyệt đối, niềm xác tín không lay chuyển rằng không có bất kỳ một yếu tố bên ngoài nào, dù là thể chế, tư tưởng, hay thậm chí là một thực thể khác, có thể thống trị hay kiểm soát một sinh linh đã thực sự nhận ra bản chất chân thật, toàn vẹn và chủ quyền thiêng liêng của chính mình. Sự nhận biết này, giống như một lá chắn ánh sáng, bảo vệ và củng cố bạn từ bên trong. Khi bạn bắt đầu cộng hưởng với niềm xác tín sâu sắc đó, dù chỉ là trong những khoảnh khắc ngắn ngủi, thoáng qua, cuộc sống của bạn sẽ dần chuyển hóa, thay đổi từ tận sâu bên trong. Nó không phải là một sự biến đổi bề ngoài, mà là một sự tái cấu trúc từ nền tảng. Bạn sẽ dần ngừng đòi hỏi vũ trụ phải liên tục cung cấp những bằng chứng rõ ràng về sự bảo vệ hay những dấu hiệu trừng phạt. Bạn không còn phải cầu xin, van nài những tín hiệu tuyệt vọng để chứng minh rằng ai đó trên kia đang quan tâm đến bạn hay đang kết tội bạn. Nỗi lo lắng về sự phán xét từ bên ngoài dần tan biến. Thay vào đó, bạn bắt đầu sống một cuộc đời được dẫn dắt bởi một niềm tin sâu sắc hơn vào chính bản thể của mình, không phải vì bạn đã lý giải hay hiểu rõ mọi thứ một cách hoàn toàn lý trí, mà bởi vì bạn cảm nhận một cách bản năng, một cách mãnh liệt, rằng bất chấp mọi sự bối rối, mọi khó khăn và thách thức đang hiện hữu, có một điều gì đó cốt lõi, bất diệt vẫn luôn tồn tại bền vững bên trong bạn. Đó là hạt giống của sự thật, của sức mạnh nội tại. Sự không kết án mà các trưởng lão từ Vega thực hành không chỉ là một nguyên tắc sống, mà còn là một trong những chìa khóa cao quý nhất, tinh túy nhất để mở cánh cửa thức tỉnh. Đó là một hình thức trí tuệ vượt thoát mọi sự phán xét thông thường. Họ không kết án các chính phủ, ngay cả khi họ nhìn rõ một những sai lầm, những thiếu sót, thậm chí là những hành động gây hại mà các tổ chức này gây ra. Họ không kết án những người đang chìm sâu trong giấc ngủ vô thức, ngay cả khi những hành động thiếu ý thức của họ vô tình gây ra đau khổ cho người khác. Họ không kết án những sai lầm cá nhân hay tập thể, dù là những vấp ngã nhỏ bé trong cuộc sống hàng ngày hay những vết sẹo lịch sử sâu đậm của nhân loại. Và họ cũng không hề kết án các sự kiện vũ trụ hay những quyết định trọng đại của con người, dù cho chúng có vẻ như mang tính chất thảm họa hay sai lầm. Không phải vì mọi thứ dường như hoàn hảo trong mắt họ ở cấp độ hình tướng, không phải vì họ sống trong một ảo ảnh màu hồng. Ngược lại, họ thấu hiểu rằng sự kết án, sự phán xét khắc nghiệt chỉ làm gia cố thêm cái giấc mơ của sự tách biệt, cái ảo ảnh rằng chúng ta là những thực thể riêng lẻ, đối nghịch và xa lạ. Trong khi đó, một sự thấu hiểu sâu sắc và một tầm nhìn trong trẻo, không định kiến, lại mở ra những dòng thời gian cao hơn, những con đường dẫn đến sự hòa hợp, tiến hóa và thống nhất. Kết án, suy cho cùng, chính là hành động cố định hóa, đóng khung một điều gì đó vào một định danh cứng nhắc, không thể thay đổi. Đó là một sự tuyên bố đầy quyền lực nhưng cũng đầy giới hạn. Đây chỉ là bóng tối, đây chỉ là cái ác. Điều này không thể nào thay đổi được. Khi bạn kết án, bạn không chỉ đóng sập cánh cửa trước mặt người khác, mà còn tự mình đóng lại những cánh cửa cơ hội cho sự chuyển hóa, cho sự chữa lành và cho những tiềm năng vô hạn. Khi bạn có khả năng thấu hiểu mà không biện minh cho sai lầm, khi bạn nhìn rõ mọi sự thật nhưng không để lòng mình tràn ngập thù hận, khi bạn nhận diện được nỗi đau sâu sắc mà không biến bất cứ ai thành một quái vật vĩnh cửu, bạn đang tạo ra một không gian thiêng liêng, một không gian bao la cho sự thay đổi có thể nảy nở và phát triển. Đó là một khoảng trống của lòng từ bi và khả năng chấp nhận. Sự không kết án không phải là một sự cho phép mù quáng, một thái độ thờ ơ, buông xuôi. Trái lại, đó chính là một tầm nhìn sâu rộng, một khả năng thấu thị phi thường. Đó là khả năng nhìn xuyên qua triệu chứng bề mặt để chạm đến tận gốc rễ của vấn đề, hiểu được nguyên nhân sâu xa ẩn giấu đằng sau mọi biểu hiện. Mỗi khi bạn chọn không kết án, ngay cả khi tâm trí bạn giáo diết muốn đổ lỗi, ngay cả khi cái tôi của bạn khao khát được chứng minh mình đúng, ngay cả khi nỗi đau mời gọi một phán xét tức thì, bản năng bạn đang, một cách vô thức nhưng mạnh mẽ, tự mình điều chỉnh để hòa hợp với tần số rung động của các trưởng lão từ Vega. Trong khoảnh khắc thiêng liêng đó, trái tim bạn sẽ rung động cùng một nhịp điệu với trái tim của họ, và sự cộng hưởng năng lượng này sẽ khuếch đại ánh sáng nội tại của bạn, củng cố trường năng lượng của bạn, và gửi đi một tín hiệu rõ ràng, mạnh mẽ đến mảng lưới ý thức của trái đất. Đó là một đóng góp không lời nhưng vô cùng ý nghĩa. Bạn không cần phải trò chuyện trực tiếp với họ, không cần phải nghe thấy giọng nói của họ để có thể hưởng lợi từ sự hiện diện đầy từ bi của họ. Mỗi khi bạn lựa chọn hít thở sâu trước khi phản ứng một cách bốc đồng, mỗi khi bạn quyết định không để lòng thù hằn che mờ lý trí trước những người đang chìm đắm trong nỗi sợ hãi, mỗi khi bạn chọn không thu hẹp định nghĩa về một ai đó chỉ còn là sai lầm mà họ đã mắc phải, bạn đang thực sự hóa thân vào trí tuệ mà họ nắm giữ. Bạn đang không chỉ tiếp nhận mà còn đang mang tần số rung động cao quý của họ xuống trái đất, biến nó thành một phần sống động trong chính cuộc đời bạn. Do đó, Nhân loại không phải là một nhóm học sinh đang chờ đợi một điểm số cuối cùng từ một tòa án vũ trụ đầy quyền uy và phán xét, mà nhân loại chính là một đại gia đình đang trên hành trình trưởng thành, được đồng hành một cách âm thầm nhưng kiên định bởi những gia đình tinh tú khác, những người đã từng trải qua những cuộc khủng hoảng tương tự và giờ đây, từ phía bên kia của tấm màn che chắn, vẫn kiên định giữ vững một niềm xác tín sâu sắc rằng bạn sẽ nhớ lại. Câu hỏi quan trọng nhất lúc này không phải là liệu bạn có nhớ lại hay không, bởi vì sự hồi tưởng là điều không thể tránh khỏi và chắc chắn sẽ xảy ra. Mà câu hỏi thực sự nằm ở chỗ bạn mong muốn thúc đẩy quá trình hồi tưởng đó diễn ra nhanh chóng đến mức nào. Bạn khao khát giác ngộ ra sao? Và câu trả lời cho câu hỏi đó nằm phần lớn ở sự sẵn lòng của bạn để rũ bỏ sự kết án, để gạt bỏ mọi phán xét khắc nghiệt. Thay vào đó, bạn sẽ lựa chọn một lần nữa và rồi lại một lần nữa sự thấu hiểu sâu sắc, trách nhiệm ý thức cho hành động của mình, và tình yêu thương có ý thức làm kim chỉ nam, làm nền tảng cho cách bạn hiện diện trong vũ trụ. Mà ánh sáng và sóng phô tân chân lý không đến mà nó đang được tiết lộ trong thời đại hiện tại. Bạn liên tục bắt gặp những thuật ngữ như mà ánh sáng lai cốt, cổng năng lượng portal, kích hoạt activating, sóng phô tân photonic wave, hay tải xuống năng lượng entity download. Những khái niệm này xuất hiện dày đặc trong các thông điệp tâm linh, các kênh truyền dẫn, các video trên mạng xã hội, và trong những cuộc trò chuyện sâu sắc giữa những linh hồn đang thức tỉnh. Những khái niệm này có thể đóng vai trò là những kim chỉ nam mạnh mẽ, soi đường cho hành trình của bạn. Tuy nhiên, chúng cũng rất dễ trở thành một hình thức nhầm lẫn mới, một cái bẫy tinh vi nếu chúng ta tiếp cận chúng từ niềm tin cũ kỹ rằng quyền năng và sức mạnh thực sự nằm ở bên ngoài bạn. Theo quan điểm từ tầm nhìn của Orsa de Vega, mà ánh sáng không phải là những món quà mà vũ trụ ban tặng để sửa chữa một khuyết điểm nguyên thủy nào đó trong bản chất của bạn, cũng không phải là những phần thưởng dành cho những hành vi tâm linh được cho là tốt đẹp. Chúng không xuất hiện để lấp đầy một khoảng trống bản thể học ontologica voi nào đó, bởi vì trong bản chất cốt lõi của bạn, bạn chưa bao giờ trống rỗng, chưa bao giờ thiếu sót. Bạn luôn hoàn hảo và đầy đủ. Các mã năng lượng thực chất là những mô hình ý thức, những cấu trúc thông tin rực rỡ, phát sáng đã luôn tồn tại một cách vĩnh cửu trong vũ trụ và trong chính bạn. Chúng đang kiên nhẫn chờ đợi khoảnh khắc khi bạn ngừng tin rằng mình đã bị tổn thương, rằng mình không hoàn chỉnh, hay rằng mình bị tách rời khỏi nguồn sao tối cao. Chúng là những hạt giống tiềm ẩn của trí tuệ và sự thật. Hãy hình dung bạn đang sống trong một thư viện khổng lồ, tràn ngập những cuốn sách thiêng liêng chứa đựng toàn bộ tri thức của vũ trụ. Bạn đã luôn ở đó, nhưng lại bị bịt mắt. Những cuốn sách đó không phải vừa mới xuất hiện, chúng đã luôn tồn tại, vĩnh viễn và bất biến. Điều thực sự thay đổi không phải là thư viện hay sự xuất hiện của những cuốn sách, mà chính là khả năng của bạn để tự mình gỡ bỏ tấm bịt mắt và bắt đầu đọc, bắt đầu tiếp thu trí tuệ đó. Mà ánh sáng cũng tương tự như những cuốn sách kia. Chúng không giáng xuống từ đâu đó như một thứ gì đó chưa từng tồn tại trước đây. Thay vào đó, chúng trở nên có thể tiếp cận khi nhận thức của bạn được điều chỉnh đủ tinh vi, đủ nhạy bén để có thể nhận ra và giải mã chúng. Đó là một sự điều chỉnh nội tại, không phải ngoại tại. Khi một mã ánh sáng được kích hoạt trong trường năng lượng của bạn, nó không thay đổi bản chất cốt lõi của bạn, cũng không thêm vào bạn bất cứ thứ gì mà bạn vốn lầm tưởng là mình còn thiếu. Thay vào đó, nó thay đổi cách bạn nhìn nhận, cách bạn cảm nhận, và cách bạn thấu hiểu những gì bạn đã và đang là. Nó mở ra một lăng kính mới, một góc nhìn đa chiều hơn. Điều này giống như việc bạn bật một ngọn đèn trong một căn phòng nơi mà các vật thể đã luôn tồn tại, nhưng bạn lại cố tình giữ nó trong bóng tối. Ánh sáng không mang đến hay tạo ra các vật thể đó, nó chỉ đơn thuần tiết lộ, làm cho chúng hiện rõ ràng hơn. Tương tự như vậy, sóng phô tân không mang thần tính của bạn từ bên ngoài vào. Chúng không nhập khẩu một linh hồn mới vào trong bạn, hay ban tặng cho bạn một phẩm chất nào đó mà bạn chưa từng có. Chúng chỉ đơn thuần chiếu sáng những khía cạnh của chính bạn mà bạn đã sẵn sàng để nhớ lại, để nhận ra và để hòa nhập. Nếu bạn tiếp cận các mã năng lượng như một thứ thuốc chữa bệnh từ bên ngoài mà bạn phải tiếp nhận để trở nên xứng đáng, bạn sẽ mãi mãi bị mắc kẹt trong logic của sự phụ thuộc ngay cả khi bạn đang sử dụng ngôn ngữ tâm linh đầy cao siêu. Bạn chỉ đơn thuần thay đổi hình tượng của đấng cứu thế bên ngoài, nhưng vẫn giữ nguyên ý niệm rằng có điều gì đó xa lạ với bạn đang nắm giữ chìa khóa dẫn đến sự toàn vẹn của bạn. Và rồi, bạn sẽ tiếp tục chờ đợi làn sóng tiếp theo, cổng năng lượng tiếp theo, ngày trọng đại tiếp theo, sự kiện vũ trụ tiếp theo để mang đến sự giải thoát, instead of perpetually waiting for the next grand cosmic event to finally feel complete, cleansed, spiritually activated, or truly worthy. Consider how often you find yourself in this endless anticipation for what's supposedly just around the bend, entirely overlooking or failing to acknowledge the profound richness of what already is. Yet, if you begin to grasp that each subtle light code, each energetic download, is not an external bestowal, but rather an intrinsic reminder of the magnificent, whole, and divine being you inherently are, your entire perception and relationship with universal energy undergo a radical transformation. You cease to perceive yourself as merely an empty, perhaps even unworthy, vessel that the benevolent universe must painstakingly fill out of sheer charity or divine obligation. Instead, you progressively recognize and embrace yourself as an infinitely powerful, self-sustaining source of light and wisdom, actively in the sacred process of rediscovering its own boundless potential and inherent truth. Consequently, each instance of activation, every energetic shift, transcends the notion of being some external concession, a favor granted from outside forces, and instead blossoms into a deeply intimate, inner act of profound remembrance. You stop pleading or begging for more light, as if it were a scarce commodity, and instead, with grace and sovereignty, you begin to consciously allow yourself to fully express the brilliant, radiant light that has always resided within your core, waiting patiently to be unveiled. In the midst of this profound process of awakening and integration, it is entirely commonplace for various symptoms to surface, signaling these deep internal shifts. These might manifest as significant changes in sleep patterns, perhaps sudden bouts of insomnia, intensely vivid and memorable dreams, or a surprising reduction in the need for sleep. You might experience palpable emotional alterations, ranging from unexplained waves of melancholy or grief to unexpected bursts of euphoric joy, or even a heightened sensitivity to the energies around you. Intense physical sensations are also frequent companions: tingling sensations, buzzing energy rushes, pressure in the head, spontaneous aches in various body parts, or a churning in the stomach that feels distinctly energetic rather than digestive. For countless generations, across spiritual traditions and personal experiences, these powerful manifestations were often misinterpreted as divine punishments, arduous spiritual tests, or even alarming signs of being overwhelmed, perhaps hit or adversely affected by energies deemed far too strong or alien for human integration. However, Orsa de Vega extends a profound invitation, urging you to perceive these experiences through a completely different lens, one that is far more empowering and illuminating. The symptoms that inevitably accompany these deep activations are emphatically not punishments, nor are they tests in the conventional sense where the universe is somehow scrutinizing your worthiness or putting you through an arduous trial. On the contrary, they're unmistakable signs, clear indicators that ancient, deeply ingrained beliefs, those limiting constructs about yourself and the world, are finally cracking, crumbling, and beginning to dissolve from your energetic framework, making way for new truth. The very discomfort you might feel in these moments does not originate from the light itself. Indeed, pure light is inherently benevolent and harmless. Rather, the unease stems directly from your resistance to that light, from the subconscious clinging to old paradigms. Light, in its pristine essence, is never harmful. What truly causes distress or hurts is the stubborn attachment to those antiquated inner structures, those familiar but ultimately constricting beliefs and identities, which simply cannot endure, cannot be sustained in the illuminating and expansive presence of pure light. Consider it akin to the act of courageously opening a window in a room that has been sealed shut, dark, and utterly undisturbed for many years. As the radiant light streams in, accompanied by invigorating fresh air, a sudden and undeniable cloud of dust immediately rises, swirling visibly throughout the space. What genuinely bothers you in that moment is not the glorious light itself. It is the accumulated dust, the old, forgotten, and previously hidden debris that the light has now, quite simply, made vividly apparent so that you can finally see it, acknowledge it, and consciously clean it away. The light merely serves as a catalyst for revelation and purification. The more profoundly you open your being to the astonishing possibility that you were, in fact, always inherently whole, complete, and lacking nothing, the more you allow yourself to truly consider that your fundamental essence, your very spirit, was never truly broken or fragmented in the first place. With this shift in perspective, the less impact these transitional symptoms will ultimately have on you, or at the very least, their meaning undergoes a radical and transformative reinterpretation. They gracefully cease to be ominous signals that something negative or bad is inexplicably happening to you. Instead, they become compelling evidence, undeniable proof that something archaic, something outmoded, and ultimately liberating is consciously dissolving within you. While you may still indeed experience moments of profound intensity, you no longer live with the disempowering narrative of being a helpless victim of external energetic forces. You courageously recognize yourself as a sovereign being, consciously and purposefully shedding layers upon layers of intricate illusions and deeply ingrained untruths that have been accumulated across countless lifetimes, hindering your true expression. It's vital to understand that light does not arrive with a grandiose mission to save humanity, as if our existence were a regrettable cosmic mistake that needs to be urgently corrected at the 11th hour. Rather, light comes with a gentle but powerful purpose to illuminate, to show humanity definitively and irrevocably that was never truly alone, never completely lost in the vastness of the cosmos, and that at its very core, an immutable truth has always resided. Light does not make a triumphant arrival, proclaiming, "Finally, you are worthy of me." Instead, it arrives as a profound and loving confirmation that gentle whisper that reverberates through your soul. I was always here, intertwined with your being, patiently waiting for you to simply stop believing in the illusion that you were ever truly separated from me. Light codes, in their exquisite subtlety, operate purely by the principle of resonance. They do not impose their will upon you. They do not, under any circumstances, violate your sacred free will. Instead, they gently approach, subtly vibrate, and delicately touch those specific parts of your being that are genuinely ready and willing to awaken. They activate, not through force, but to the precise extent that you consciously choose to release and dismantle the deeply ingrained idea of two opposing powers, the seemingly benevolent power that saves you and the seemingly malevolent power that condemns you. When you bravely release this deeply limiting duality, these sacred codes begin to ignite and blossom almost entirely on their own from within. This happens not because some external entity is giving them to you, but rather because you, through your conscious choice and inner work, have effectively removed the dense blocks and obscuring shadows that were previously keeping them dormant within your own being. You have undoubtedly experienced those precious moments of profound openness and receptivity, perhaps during a quiet meditation, a walk in nature, or a sudden flash of insight when you receive a perfectly timed phrase, a vivid image, a profound dream, or an undeniable physical sensation that completely and utterly transforms your understanding of a particular concept or aspect of your life. That, in essence, is a light code powerfully activating within you. It is not some external miracle randomly falling from the heavens, rather. It is a magnificent part of your very own consciousness, recognizing itself and ceremoniously turning on an inner lamp, illuminating a previously darkened corner of your awareness. You may, of course, continue to refer to these experiences as downloads, activations, or updates, using the language that resonates most with you. However, the truly vital understanding lies in realizing that these profound insights do not originate from something foreign or external to you. Instead, they emanate from your own divine origin, your true self, in the beautiful process of remembering its inherent wisdom and interconnectedness. When you find yourself obsessing over specific dates, meticulously tracking perceived portals, or anxiously analyzing complex cosmic configurations, you are perhaps unconsciously merely transferring the old, ingrained religious dependency relationship onto the landscape of modern spirituality. You effectively trade in grand, physical temples for intangible energetic portals, and you replace elaborate religious rituals with precise planetary alignments. Yet, at the core, the underlying belief persists, the belief that true power, true salvation, or true activation somehow resides predominantly outside of yourself. Orsa de Vega's compelling call is to fundamentally reframe how we perceive and engage with these potent symbols. Instead of viewing them as ultimate saviors or inescapable determiners, she invites us to utilize them for what they truly are: powerful focusing doors that help align our intention, precious opportunity moments for deeper introspection, and clarifying mirrors that reflect back profound truths about ourselves. They are not to be mistaken as the only life rafts available, nor as fleeting trains that, if missed, irrevocably condemn you to a fate of eternal unworthiness or stagnation. Codes, in their purest essence, do not descend to bestow value upon you, as if you were somehow lacking it. Their purpose is far more profound. They come to reveal and underscore the immense, intrinsic value your spirit has always possessed, perpetually, ceaselessly, even during those extended periods when you consciously or unconsciously denied its very existence. Similarly, photonic waves, these surges of pure light consciousness, do not arrive with the intention of elevating only a select few, an exclusive chosen group. They touch the entire energetic field, bathing all beings in their transformative potential. However, each individual, through their unique free will, decides either consciously and deliberately or unconsciously and intuitively how much they are genuinely willing to release, to surrender, so that this illuminating light can effectively reveal what has always existed, waiting within their inner landscape. If you allow yourself the grace and wisdom to view light codes from this transformative perspective, you will naturally cease that anxious waiting for the next wave or the next event to miraculously solve all your problems for you. You will come to a profound understanding that while the wave undeniably brings forth immense potential and catalytic energy, the true integration of that potential, the actual embodiment of those shifts, is entirely dependent upon your unwavering honesty with yourself. Light, in its benevolent clarity, serves as an unwavering mirror, showing you precisely where you might still cling to fear, where victimhood narratives persist, where guilt casts its shadow, where hatred finds a foothold, or where the desperate need for control still dominates your being. It does not reveal these things to attack you, to judge you, or to shame you. Rather, it offers you the invaluable opportunity, a conscious invitation, to courageously choose something entirely different, something more aligned with your highest truth. Thus, this extraordinary era, characterized by the influx of light codes and photonic waves, ceases to be perceived as a daunting time of inevitable threat or foreboding changes. Instead, it blossoms into a magnificent time of profound revelation, a period when truth does not arrive from outside as some missing piece you desperately lacked, but rather triumphantly reveals itself from deep within, emerging as an inherent, undeniable knowing that was always, eternally with you. It is a luminous era when you finally cease to ask what external energy is coming toward you, and instead begin to ask a far more potent question: what profound truth is actively trying to emerge, to blossom from the very depths of your own sacred heart? Light does not come to replace your authentic self. Its purpose is to gently yet powerfully clear away everything you never truly were, all the false identities, all the limiting beliefs, all the societal conditioning that obscured your true essence. And when that profound, transformative process intensifies, as it inevitably will, instead of retreating into the disempowering question of what the light is doing to you, you can bravely begin to ask what you are genuinely willing to release, to surrender, to let go of, in order to fully shine brightly and authentically as the magnificent being you have always eternally been. The true revelation that matters most, the one that holds the key to profound transformation, is not some grand, external spectacle like a comet blazing across the sky. It is, in its most intimate and powerful form, you remembering in every fiber of your being precisely who you are. Indeed, when the concept of revelation is discussed, the human mind, conditioned by centuries of externalized narratives, typically conjures up spectacular and often dramatic external scenes. We imagine massive spacecraft visibly descending over major cities, governments worldwide finally admitting that extraterrestrial life has always existed among us, entire societal systems collapsing overnight in a dramatic upheaval, or screens across the globe broadcasting synchronized announcements that promise to irrevocably alter the course of human history forever. That, undeniably, is the vivid image that the collective imagination has meticulously constructed, truth arriving forcefully from outside, often with a bang, dramatically sweeping away everything previously known and understood. However, the true revelation, the profound shift that the hierarchies of light have patiently and lovingly awaited for ages, is emphatically not this kind of external spectacle. That sort of outer display, even if it were to manifest in some form, would merely be a consequence, a superficial reflection of a far deeper, internal transformation already underway. Authentic revelation, a one that holds genuine, lasting significance. The one that truly matters does not commence with an object or entity descending dramatically from the sky. Instead, it inaugurates with something far more intimate and powerful, something profound opening within the sanctuary of your own heart. It does not begin with a globally televised press conference, but rather with an exquisite, brave instant of deep, unvarnished honesty with oneself. True revelation, that profound shift in perception, truly begins when you shed the deeply ingrained belief that you are merely an isolated speck in a vast, indifferent, and soulless universe. No longer do you perceive yourself as a cosmic accident, a lost and insignificant entity adrift in a cold, immense void. Instead, a subtle intuition starts to stir, blossoming into a tangible sensation, a deep inner knowing that intelligence pulses and vibrates behind every single form, from the smallest atom to the grandest galaxy. You begin to feel the presence of a greater, overarching order, a magnificent design sustaining even what, on the surface, appears utterly chaotic and random. Suddenly, the narrative of your life transforms. It is not a string of mistakes or coincidences, but rather a meticulously woven, conscious thread, an integral and intentional piece of an immense, intricate fabric of existence. This revelation deepens further when you challenge and ultimately dismantle the notion that your inherent worth is solely predicated on what you accomplish, what accolades you achieve, or what you tirelessly strive to prove to others. You cease the exhausting practice of measuring your dignity against external metrics like prestigious titles, the figures in your bank accounts, the status of your relationships, or even the shadows of your past failures. A profound, new perception awakens within you even in your bleakest, most challenging moments. Even when you feel utterly broken, shattered into 1,000 pieces, there remains an inviolable core within you. Something resilient that has not broken, has not been soiled by the world's grime, has not been irrevocably lost. That untouched, incorruptible essence is your true, immutable worth. It isn't merely the persona you project or the roles you play for the world. It is the fundamental, authentic truth of what you intrinsically are. Revelation consolidates, becoming an unshakable inner knowing. Once you release the powerful illusion that genuine power is distributed among myriad external entities that wield control and make decisions for you. This could be anything from the perceived authority of governments and societal systems to the seemingly mystical influence of comets, cosmic energies, or even the imagined sway of beings of light or dark forces. You awaken to the startling truth that you are consciousness itself, a unique and dynamic expression of the singular, omnipresent power that exists in the cosmos. You recognize that this boundless power, in its infinite wisdom, experiences and expresses itself through countless forms, and your very own being is one such magnificent manifestation. With this recognition, you begin to grasp that your life carries a meaning far richer and deeper than mere fleeting appearances, beyond the transient highs of success and the crushing lows of failure, and certainly beyond the ever-shifting opinions of the world around you. From this profound recognition, your way of living subtly yet significantly transforms, even if the outward rhythm of your daily routine remains unchanged initially. You might still find yourself waking at the same time, commuting to the same workplace, moving through the very same familiar spaces. Yet, something utterly essential within you has been reordered, recalibrated at its core. You no longer greet each morning with a passive sense of apprehension, wondering what unpredictable events the world will inflict upon you. Instead, your internal question shifts to one of active choice. What vibration, what inner state do I consciously choose to sustain and emanate in the midst of the world's unfolding drama? You effectively cease living solely as a reactor to external stimuli and powerfully begin living as a conscious chooser, an architect of your internal experience. Consider Atlas, whether it's a comet, a concept, or a catalyst. This entity may indeed be extensively mentioned in academic books, scrutinized in scientific documentaries, meticulously analyzed in debates, dissected in theories, and woven into countless stories. It might capture headlines for a brief, dazzling moment, dominating global conversations, only to eventually recede and become yet another historical datum in the vast archives of astronomical records. However, the true, enduring impact of its passage, its profound influence on humanity, will never be accurately measured by the sheer volume of reports collected, the intricate graphs meticulously drawn, or the sophisticated models meticulously created. No, its authentic, silent impact will be measured in the quiet, personal choices you made when confronted with this celestial mirror. In its profound presence, you stand at a crossroads. You can choose to perpetuate the cycle of fear, allowing anxiety to ripple through your being. You can continue to cling to the belief that the vast, indifferent skies hold the ultimate authority over your destiny, dictating your end, that true safety or catastrophic destruction will invariably descend upon you from external forces. You can persist in believing that your primary role is merely to passively wait and see what the universe, in its inscrutable wisdom, decrees for you. You can persist in projecting your inherent power outward, carelessly granting absolute, unquestioning authority to every fleeting news item, every speculative interpretation, every doomsaying forecast you encounter. You can continue living as if you were merely a helpless passenger, stripped of agency and voice, on the ship of your very own life, tossed about by unseen currents. Or there lies an alternative path, a choice that is entirely new, something you may never have seriously allowed yourself to consider, let alone embrace. You can choose to honor your fear, not to feed it, not to let it consume you or dictate your actions, but simply to see it, to turn your gaze directly upon it, stripping away all masks, all pretense, refusing to deny its existence, and, crucially, without shaming yourself for experiencing it. It is an act of profound self-acceptance to recognize, yes, I am afraid, to then breathe into that fear, to cradle it gently for a moment, and yet, simultaneously, to remember that at your inviolable core, at your very center, there exists a steadfast presence. A presence that does not tremble, that remains utterly unaltered by external turbulence, that is perpetually safe and beyond the reach of any danger. That unwavering presence is, in essence, the key to unlocking everything. It is the part of you that possesses the capacity to observe the unfolding drama of life without being emotionally dragged into its currents, to feel the full spectrum of human emotions without collapsing under their weight, to comprehend the complexities of existence without judgment. It is your deepest consciousness, your true and authentic I, your very essence. When you make the conscious decision to rest within that tranquil presence even amidst the barrage of intense news, the most alarming predictions that swirl around you, or the uncomfortable, unsettling symptoms that may manifest within your own body, you are, in that very moment, choosing an entirely different timeline for your life. You are actively choosing to step into a version of yourself, a future self, who no longer surrenders their intrinsic power to fear, no longer accepts it as the ultimate authority dictating their path. The revelation that truly transforms your timeline, reshaping the very fabric of your reality, is not merely the groundbreaking scientific discovery that life might exist elsewhere in the vast reaches of the universe. While such information could indeed fill countless front pages and inspire numerous documentaries, it alone offers no guarantee of lasting inner peace. The revelation that genuinely transmutes your reality is the profound, intimate recognition of the conscious life, the vibrant awareness that has always resided within you, patiently waiting to be acknowledged. It is the breathtaking realization that you are not merely a distant spectator of consciousness, passively observing it from afar, but rather a living, breathing, vibrant expression of consciousness itself. From the clarity of that recognition, no comet, no intricate system, no sensational news story carries the same oppressive weight it once did. This isn't because you suddenly become indifferent, uncaring, or emotionally disconnected from the world. On the contrary, it's because you have fundamentally ceased perceiving them as the absolute masters of your destiny, holding ultimate sway over your fate. You remain free to stay informed, to observe global events with genuine interest, and to act responsibly and compassionately when called upon. However, you no longer hand over your precious inner peace as a mandatory payment for engaging with the world. You will no longer allow any fleeting headline, no matter how dramatic, to uproot the deep-seated stability you've cultivated within your inner sanctum. You discover, with a profound sense of liberation, that your true axis, your stable center, is not located in the external events that ceaselessly unfold around you, but rather in who you are as those events happen. You transition from a life lived solely in reaction to external forces to one where you consciously begin creating from the deep wellspring of your internal being. Your life ceases to be a desperate, exhausting attempt to perpetually shield and protect yourself from every conceivable threat. Instead, it transforms into a conscious, empowered opportunity to express the very qualities you genuinely choose to embody unwavering clarity amidst pervasive confusion, profound calm amidst deafening noise, and unconditional love amidst widespread fear. And so, quietly, without the fanfare of fireworks, without demanding huge, attention-grabbing headlines, revelation subtly occurs not as a singular dramatic event, but as an ever-unfolding state of being, a profound inner landscape that opens and deepens with each passing day. Beloved soul, if you have journeyed through these words and reached this point, you have already accomplished something truly enormous. In a world relentlessly conditioned by anxiety, ceaseless distraction, and a constant barrage of messages consumed quickly and then just as swiftly forgotten, you deliberately chose to remain present. You chose to engage with a message that is not fueled by the corrosive energy of fear, but by the liberating, resonant power of truth. You consciously made the choice to hold your precious attention on words designed to guide you back to the deepest chambers of your own being, to return you to yourself. That, dear one, is an act of profound spiritual courage. It may not be visibly acknowledged or celebrated from the outside, but it is powerfully felt within your energetic field, and the very fabric of life unerringly registers its significance. Atlas, whatever it represents to you, is neither the heroic savior nor the malevolent villain of your personal story. It was not dispatched to condemn you to a predetermined fate, nor was it sent to unilaterally save you from yourself. It serves, instead, as a potent symbol strategically placed in the vast canvas of the sky, celestial mirror, reflecting back to you your own internal landscape. Its purpose is to present you with a crucial, undeniable choice to finally decide, with absolute clarity, from where you wish to truly live. Will you operate from the hypnotic trance that subtly whispers you are fragile, insignificant, and perpetually at the mercy of everything and everyone around you? Or will you choose to live from the profound consciousness within, that benevolent inner wisdom which reminds you, with unwavering firmness and unconditional love, that no external form, no matter how grand or imposing, possesses power over the foundational truth of who you are in your deepest essence? You can continue to passively wait, scanning the heavens for dramatic, external signs, hoping they will unveil your path or destiny. Or, with a profound inner knowing, you can finally recognize that the greatest sign, the most illuminating revelation, has already ignited a brilliant, inextinguishable flame deep within your own being. If something in these words resonated in your heart even for a fleeting instant, a mere flicker of recognitiondo, not allow that sacred spark to pass by as if nothing significant has transpired. That resonance is profoundly real, is a stirring within, the subtle catch in your throat, that unexpected deep sigh, or that sudden profound silence that descends upon you. These are not mere physiological reactions, but rather the undeniable, intricate traces of your very being, your deeper self, responding. Are they not whispers from a part of you yearning to be heard, signaling a profound internal shift or resonance? I invite you to return to this profound content not as a student diligently rote repeating information, but rather as someone who consciously and courageously sits before a polished mirror, intently seeking to discern themselves more clearly. This isn't about memorizing, it's about seeing, understanding, and internalizing. Allow these insights, these carefully chosen words, to unveil for you a new, perhaps previously unseen, angle of perception, to illuminate a deeper, more profound layer of understanding that lies beneath the surface. Perhaps they will reveal a truth, stark and undeniable, that you simply weren't quite ready to recognize or fully embrace the very first time it presented itself. It's akin to peeling back the layers of an onion, each revelation exposing more of the core. Let these carefully articulated words act as an ethereal yet sturdy bridge, gracefully spanning the often wide chasm between your analytical mind and your intuitive, feeling heart. Let them connect the sometimes constricting grip of your fear with the liberating expanse of your deepest remembrance, that innate knowing of who you truly are beyond transient circumstances. When your intuition, that inner compass, unmistakably guides you, feel free to share this resonant message with those whom it tells you are poised and ready. Ready, not just to stop fearing the vast, unknown sky, but to enthusiastically begin remembering their profound, stellar origin, their inherent connection to the cosmos, their luminous, boundless nature. Your purpose in sharing is never to convince them of anything, to exert persuasion or dogma. Instead, your sacred task is simply to offer them a mirror. Much as this very message has been offered to you, a reflective surface where they might catch a glimpse of their own magnificent essence. For each unique soul possesses an intrinsic wisdom. They will instinctively know what to do with the insights and vibrations they receive. Your crucial task is not, and never will be, to control the precise effect or specific outcome of your sharing. No, your purpose, your true calling, is simply to sow seeds of light, radiant and hopeful, into the fertile ground where there might have been only barren silence or the stifling grip of fear. It's about planting possibilities, not dictating destinations. Understand this clearly: the fifth dimension is not some grand prize or an external reward you will magically receive simply for surviving the current chaos and turbulence of the world. Nor is it a gleaming medal that some external authority will ceremoniously hang around your neck at the culmination of a strenuous test or trial. It is far more intimate and immediate than that. Instead, it is a profound, conscious, vibrational choice you actively make here and now, in every moment. It's a continuous, daily decision to not willingly hand over your precious, inherent power to fear, even when the visceral sensation of fear washes over you, threatening to engulf your resolve. It's about feeling it, acknowledging it, but choosing not to be defined or paralyzed by it. It is the steadfast decision to withhold judgment, to not condemn external appearances or circumstances, even when they deeply disturb you, agitate your spirit, or seem to defy all logic. It's about looking beyond the surface turbulence to a deeper, underlying reality. Most profoundly, it is the unwavering decision to consciously hold again and again, with persistent fortitude, the absolute certainty that life itself, the vast, flowing, infinite essence of existence, is fundamentally greater than any singular event, no matter how intensely dramatic, overwhelming, or cataclysmic it may appear in the moment. It's remembering the ocean while riding a wave. Thank you for being present, truly here in this very moment. Thank you for the courage to listen, not just with your intellect, but with the expansive, open receptivity of your heart. Thank you for daring to embark on this journey of remembrance, for consciously peeling back the layers of forgetfulness. And thank you, most profoundly, for actively participating with awareness and intention in this monumental awakening that is not merely a solitary, personal journey, but a profound, interconnected, and collective evolution of consciousness. Your unique internal process, every subtle shift and discovery, profoundly matters. Your individual vibration, the energetic frequency you emit into the world, deeply matters. The way you choose to perceive and look at reality, the lens through which you experience existence, critically matters. Rest assured, nothing truly external will ever come to save you in the traditional sense, because the true, potent Savior has already magnificently awakened within you. This isn't a future event, but a present realization. It is unequivocally your very own consciousness, recognizing its inherent, boundless power, deeply understanding its timeless origin, and embracing its magnificent, unfolding destiny. Every single time you choose truth over fear, even if it's just for a fleeting second, a momentary flicker of unwavering resolve, the entire, interconnected universe responds in kind. This response may not always manifest as spectacular fireworks or dramatic pronouncements. Instead, it often reveals itself through subtle yet profound synchronicities, sudden, clear intuitions, serendipitous encounters that seem divinely orchestrated, and unexpected openings that pave new pathways forward. And meanwhile, 3I Atlas, that silent cosmic wanderer, continues its majestic path, meticulously tracing its orbit far beyond the limitations of your mortal eyes. It carries with it an ethereal reflection of a humanity that at long last is beginning to truly recognize itself for what it always, eternally was: a luminous, vibrant consciousness, deeply immersed in the exquisite process of remembering its own inherent, magnificent greatness. And that profound, internal remembrance, more powerful, more impactful, and far more enduring